Welcome, everybody. It's Saturday Night Special. No, I'm just joking. Welcome, everybody. It's Saturday Night Special, the crazy show on the internet. The one that your parents don't let you watch because it's too crazy. We've got a panel of the best minds on the planet tonight, and we've got a very big guest, Tim Seeley, coming in about an hour. So let's step back, strap in, enjoy your strawberry shortcake seltzer, and let's get the show going. You know, today technology it's not working for me today.
It's working for me.
It's working for me.
Every weekend, Hartman gets pulled a little bit further into that.
Soon he's going to be part of the hive mind of artificial intelligence.
You are.
The board king.
I've got to reformat my Windows tonight. I entered in the wrong product key and it switched it over to Enterprise. Now it's all messed up.
Oh no!
So I got to re-put in Windows and put in the right.
What do you get for buying it online?
That's what I get for spending that $4.
Did you go on Reddit and find someone's product key and put it in?
I went to eBay and said buy product key here with an arrow pointing to a really shady fucking website.
The email was from support@gmail. So figures.
We're going to call this a donation so eBay keeps the listing up.
Right.
Oh, man. So how's everybody else doing tonight?
Oh, man. I had a football game today. So I coach my kids' football team. We had a kid on the very first play. He's running down the field with the ball. And the kids we're playing are like, a foot shorter than our kids. They're 12 years old. Our kids are like
they're just holding them with their head with their hand, and they're going like this.
Well, so the guy who's running the ball, he's like my height. He's almost 6 feet tall, and he tripped over one of these little dudes, fell down, and broke his collarbone. Very first play.
Shit! Oh damn!
Slammed super hard. And he was like,
poor kid.
Now he was in shock, and he's like, "What's going on? I don't know where I am."
What's up, TK?
What is parents say?
Okay, we need to hook up and get some drinks.
His mom was like, "Oh, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. Just to walk it off." And I was like, "He's a broken bone, man.
Just rub some dirt on it. It'll be all right.
I think
she was tablet. It'll be okay."
I think she was like, "Oh, this is gonna be a deductible. This is gonna suck."
Oh man, my insurance.
Did you used to watch
Sam's lawyer
watch Little Tykes?
Do I watch Little Tykes? No, I don't watch that.
No, it was in Texas. It was little Pop Warner football. They went all the way to the state. They're like 6, 7-year-olds playing football, taking it super serious.
No,
Texas, you have to.
They're like little giants.
Oh, shit.
No, man. I think it was Little Tykes. I don't remember. I think it was Little Tykes, but it was in Texas, and they take their football very seriously.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, it's religion down there, brother.
Yeah.
So, you guys ever seen the movie Van Wilder?
Yeah.
With Ryan Reynolds. He has the VW hat with the big patch and the little patch on the back. He always wears it the entire movie.
Yeah.
I get to make, and I didn't even realize till like 2 weeks ago that the reason he's got a VW hat is because it's Van Wilder.
His initials.
But I get to make mine. I get to make my Van Wilder hat. Then I got this one for free. Oh shit!
You couldn't find one that had a K and an S?
No, I wanted one that says V and W.
Okay. You want to be Van Wilder? You don't want to be Kyle Stinson?
No, I wanted one that says Volkswagen.
Kyle Von Stinson.
Mr. Kyle, as I call him now.
Because I'm the boss.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in fucking charge here. All right, speaking of being in charge, let's get ready with our first segment with Mr. Sam himself.
All right.
Let's do that new shit and get it going.
Are you
There's a
still doing
bumper.
the bumper for this? All right.
We're just gonna let this segment kind of do a lot of duty here, Matt. We're trying to increase people's attention span, get engagement, and also slip in a little bit of comedy here and there. So we are talking about headlines. Let's hit that first headline. Blankety blank reality show was reportedly an inhumane disaster. So the blankety blank we got to fill in. Was it A, Amazon's knuckle dusters,
What the fuck is that?
B, Discovery HBO's Fight Quest,
The fuck is that?
C, Netflix's Squid Game, or D, NBC's To Catch a Predator?
This is one of the best shows.
Which one of these was a reality show that was reportedly an inhumane disaster? We got some.
I see Renovision, Absolute Geek, and Renovision have answered already.
We got some answers in the chat already.
Wow, look how quick,
TK
look
says
how-
Discovery HBO's Fight Quest.
I'm gonna go A.
So drum
It
roll.
is C.
It is. Let's hit that next slide.
So it wasn't Real
Slap
World
light.
season 1.
It's Netflix's Squid Game reality show. So based on the hit TV show, Netflix developed a Squid game show based on the hit show. And at least 10 participants collapsed during the first day of filming, according to Rolling Stone. Medics were called to the set repeatedly, with one contestant even referring to the set as a war zone. People were dropping like flies. Apparently, there is a huge prize up for grabs. The winner takes home $4.56 million.
You mean for guessing the right answer on this?
No.
Oh.
you going to put up that cheddar?
1.56.
You got that cheddar?
I was like, damn, it looks like
We'll just send it to Marco. You can just write it off.
Yeah, put it on Marco's tab. Sure, he'd love that. So yeah.
I'm
so
like, okay.
if you're looking at,
We'll just have Lopez's droid printed up real quick.
yeah,
Absolutely.
if you're looking at joining a reality show, game show, Squid Game's probably not that far off from the actual Squid Game TV show.
Or it's a bunch of Americans.
why is the P in print in brackets?
Okay, so when you have a quote, and the original quote was a different capitalization. So in the original quote, it would have been a lowercase. So they put it in brackets because they're starting a sentence with it. That's all it is.
I thought the original quote was, "People were dropping like flies."
Apple.
No, just
Yapple.
because in the original quote, it was part of a longer sentence. So this just started with the people.
I liked it better.
I've
when
never
it was
seen that
Yapple.
either, so that was a good question.
Thanks, Dix. I
Thank you,
appreciate
Sam.
that.
That was informative.
All right, we got another one. There's still 3 more. Don't drop out yet. All right, blankety blank is getting turned into a franchise. Option A, is it Rob Lowe's Adkins as Fuck?
I'd watch the shit out of that show.
Is
Right.
is it Nick Offerman's Gay Redneck from Last of Us?
I'd watch that.
Is it Aziz Ansari's Date or Harassment? You decide. Or Chris Pratt's Terminal List?
I'm hoping it's C.
C was that was the HBO show. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I got D.
Lopez, you're saying Chris Pratt's Terminal List? Any other guesses?
Yes.
I'm
I
gonna
said
say
C.
D as well.
I'm going with E. Crisley knows best in prison.
Grizzly.
Hated that. My wife used to watch that show. I hated that. Guys.
All right.
I don't
We
know. The
got
daughter is kind
some
of hot.
guesses here. We got Pops and Comics is saying D. We got TK saying D. Chris Pratt's Terminal List. All right, let's hit it. You're right. It is Chris Pratt's. The Terminal List is getting turned into a franchise. Chris Pratt
Applaud.
announced on his social media, I'm excited to announce that the second season of The Turtle Lake is on its way. And I couldn't be more thrilled to reprise my role as James Reese.
Now that's
The
from
season.
sorry.
Go ahead.
No, it's from a novel.
Yeah.
Okay,
This season promises to be even more intense and action-packed than the first, and I can't wait for everyone to see it.
Chris
In
Pratt.
addition
Right?
to what's that?
No. It's a novel. I believe it's a novel, right, Sam? You said
It is.
Yeah.
It's a novel.
Yeah,
It's a
my wife-
series of novels. I think
Series
there's
of
like
novels,
3 or
yeah.
4
my
of them.
wife
yeah.
read one of them or two of them. She didn't like the show at all. She dropped it third episode.
Well, in addition to the second season, a new prequel series is also in the works that will focus on the character Ben Edwards, played by Taylor Kitsch,
Damn it.
who was a big part of the original season or the first season. You guys looking
Love
forward to
Taylor
that?
Swift.
You want to see more
It
Terminal
sounds
List?
like Hartman is spanking the monkey right now.
I don't hear
Is
anything.
it? I'm like,
All I
I'm
hear
not
is
doing
a bunch of
anything.
shuffling, then him go. "Ugh."
Oh,
Hey,
Oh,
Actually,
no,
wait-
my back,
let's wait till
my
the
back
anime
is
segment.
jacked up. Like it's bad. Like if I move, it feels like I'm getting stabbed. I would kill myself if I felt like this all the time.
at least wait till the anime segment if you're gonna get busy over there.
No, like I seriously, if I move, it feels like I'm dying. Like,
Man, that's
What the-
rough.
It's sad.
Uploading your consciousness to the web
hurts.
it's not what it used to be.
It
I'll
takes
send
a
the
lot
message.
well, I
out of you.
mean, what sucks is like it's your conscience is just a copy, so you gotta kill yourself. Like literally, like you gotta like die, or else there's another you going around.
Oh, we're
It's
going.
insane.
Yeah, that was the lesson of the Prestige.
We're going.
I've never seen it.
Sounds like you should be sitting in the emergency bay right next to the kid on Sam's football team.
Yeah.
No, it's just one of those things that's been bad ever since high school.
Man, sorry to hear
All
that.
right,
Stop
what's-
boning those fat chicks in high school, then throw your
I
back
didn't
out.
big bone fat chicks.
All right, we got the next one. So blankety blank finally admits that blank could have survived. Is
Old
it
Yeller.
Oh,
A, John Travolta finally admits that disco could have survived?
There
Is
you
it
go, his
B,
kid.
James Cameron finally admits that Jack from Titanic could have survived?
We all know that. Bitch, scoot over.
Is it the Pentagon finally admits that Elvis could have survived? Or is it a grumpy old man finally admits that Old Yeller could have survived?
I'm gonna
answer
go with,
B. For
I want to
500
say it's
Babs.
John
Say
Travolta,
B.
but I mean it's not disco.
And
Disco Inferno.
Dis-
you know,
Disco
C
never
Men in
got
Black told us that
Right.
Michael Jackson just went or Elvis just went home.
You're right.
Nobody get that Scientology joke.
All right, we got some answers rolling in. We got TK hitting us with the B. We got Pops and Comics saying B.
What is James
Yeah.
Cameron? B.
We got the panel saying B. Let's check it out.
BBB.
You are right.
2 for 3, baby. 2 for
Fuck
3.
yeah, I
James
would've been like,
Cameron.
bitch,
James Cameron
scoot
finally
over.
admits that Jack could have survived Titanic, but there's a lot of variables. So, as part of their 25-year anniversary of Titanic, James Cameron did a study, and they were able to find a position where both actors' upper bodies were above the waterline. Out of the water, the violent shaking of the stuntman.
Doggy
was
style would have
helping
been a good position.
He just didn't really want to survive.
Okay.
Commitment.
And projecting it out, he could have made it pretty long, like hours.
He's like, do I really want to
That's
be
got
with
the
her
employee manual
for the rest
there.
of my life?
Move over.
I do, Matt.
Move over, Kate Winslet.
Kate
Let him
Winslet is
on.
a phenomenal
What's
actress.
up, Astro?
I love Kate.
She
Winslet.
started talking marriage, and then he got off the little floaty
Yeah,
thing.
he's like, I'll just die. I'd
Bitch,
rather
I
I'm
think
giving
drink
you
this
a
I-
picture. Scoot the fuck over.
They're bringing this movie back to theaters so he can break more records.
What, for a sequel?
No, just through
No.
Yeah,
For the
Titanic
anniversary.
2.
Titanic shoulda, woulda,
Part
coulda.
Can't
Today
wait. Yeah,
should
we
be
can't
on
wait for
soon.
Tim Seeley to jump
Well-
on. He'll be on about 6 p.m. Arizona time. 45 minutes.
Maybe James Cameron can do his the Titanic for Titanic too.
Did you know that there's a theory out there that the Titanic actually never sank?
Yeah, that it
Yes.
was another
Yes.
ship
The Olympia,
The
wasn't
Olympic.
it?
Yeah,
The
Or the
Olympic,
Olympic.
The Titanic.
So James got catfished into researching some other ship.
Dude, we should do that episode for our story or for our thresholds there, Kyle.
That is a great legend. Yeah.
James went there.
They think it's a different ship.
I went there.
Yeah. So the theory is that there was another show called the Olympic or Olympia or whatever you want to call it that was actually damaged. So in order to get insurance, they sunk that ship and then they swapped the names on them. So Titanic is actually, it would never actually sank.
Hey, come here. Wipe off Olympia, write Titanic on that one.
Yep.
Yep. Pretty much.
And
Hey.
and
Get
here's
Cameron on the
the
phone.
clincher, Kyle. Here's the
He owes
clincher.
us.
Is the guys who were funding the ship were scheduled to take that voyage, and they never did. They didn't even get on the ship.
Right.
Mhm.
They knew. They knew.
They knew ahead of time.
Hey, are you getting on? No.
They should have told the band.
They had to row Champeau to see who had to get on the ship.
Give my tickets to my in-laws. They'll have fun.
Here, my
Castro,
ex-wife,
we
my
do what we
ex-wife can go.
We do what we want. You don't tell us what to do. What's up, Brucifer? Brucifer and I are now Instagram buddies.
He's a cool
We-
dude, man. He
We
says me
started
some funny
an
shit.
Instagram relationship, exchanging reels all the time.
That's cute.
That's cute.
You're registered at Target.
That's right. All right, I got one more headline. Here we go. Blankety blank has arrived on Fortnite. Is it
It's your mom.
Amazon's The Boys? Is it Chuck Norris? Is it Junji Ito? Or is it your mom?
What
It's your
is
mom,
being-
dude.
I definitely,
Norris.
I feel like it's D.
Hey.
Your mom, but it's like a mail-in rebate kind of thing. You got to send a picture in.
You got to send a picture of your mom.
Sad.
Oh man, let's see. We got any
I'm
options?
going
Oh,
D.
Pops and Comics is saying C, Junji Ito. We got TK saying Chuck Norris. Oh, we got a split. Got a split.
I believe
I'm
it's
going
You
with
guys,
your
the
mom.
panel saying D, your mom. Anyone?
I think it's A. But
Pretty sure it's
Oh,
your
yeah.
mom.
Hero Gasm coming to Fortnite. Dude, that's gonna be great.
That'd be bad. So instead of doing that, they do the hell yeah.
That'd be a killer emote, right? Lucifer says C, Junji Ito.
Who is
All right, let's hit it.
Midnighter.
It is C, Junji Ito and his creepy-ass balloons. So Junji Ito's Maniac, in celebration of Junji Ito's Maniac on Netflix, they have brought in a bunch of the creepiest aspects of Junji Ito's short stories and episodes of the Netflix series, including these hanging balloons, which try to kill everybody. These are the balloons I've been talking about the last couple of weeks.
So are the balloons going to look like your character, and then if you pop it, you die?
Yeah, I don't know. That would be consistent with the lore. Yeah, it would be consistent. With
Speaking
the
of
lore.
balloons,
I learned that from you, Sam.
Well, I'm glad it's sticking. I'm glad something's sticking. Anyway, that's it for the
I'm paying
headlines.
attention. I'm paying attention.
Tremendous
All right.
job,
Time
Tom.
for a review.
Time for comic review time.
It's time for the segment that we do better than the other show on this channel that ripped us off.
We're gonna start with. Don't mind this. I fucked up my Windows stuff today. We're gonna start with Where Monsters Lie. I know Darth read it. Did anybody else read this week?
No.
No.
Unbelievable. Guys, I'm going to have to start writing people up. Where's my handbook?
So
Sam, hold on.
who's
Hartman,
got
bro.
the sniffles?
You, this is.
yeah, sorry.
Hartman.
I think new COVID protocols. Hartman should be sent home.
What's that?
He's clearly sick.
Dude, I'm in a garage. It's like 30 below. I can see my breath.
Okay. If you want to go inside and warm up, you can and come back out if you want.
No, I'm good. I'll try not to sniffle.
Okay, we're gonna start with Where Monsters Lie. I know Lopez and I read this. I love the concept of this book. So, what the concept of this book is, when these killers and everything aren't out doing it, they live in a community. They live in their own little like gated community, and they have like an HOA, and they have someone who tells them what to do. There's somebody that sharpens their knives. There's somebody that gets them their TNT. There's someone so the
it's like the
characters.
Continental for psychos.
Yeah, so what we have here is Zell, Puzzle Man, Frankie and Pearl, the Fuckmaster, Richard, Pack Rat.
The fuck master.
Pretty awesome, right?
He's got a pedo bear on his head.
Yeah, and Saint Noir, Julian, and Daniel Dawson. That's pretty much what it. And this book kind of starts out as these kids got lured into. They snuck into this community and they got into this house. And
Yeah, look at that.
And they thought they were getting away, and they
Damn.
really weren't. This is like she's like the leader of everybody. Her
Right.
and so
She's the
like-
HOA president.
Yeah, she's the HOA president. So she killed.
No,
so
it's
she
almost
has to.
like she's
she has to-
HR, right?
Yeah,
Kyle?
she is. She is. She's HR.
Yeah.
So she ends up killing these kids because
Okay.
she's got to cover it up now because they kind of got
Right.
on the property. But what happens is one escapes, takes off. So they're, so this is like CAC takes off. He's getting like reprimanded for
Yeah.
for killing people. They're not allowed to kill people within the premises. See how it's like their own little community. They all
Yeah.
live in their own house, and this is them in the meeting. They're kind of getting reprimanded. What happened? She's talking about it. She's giving somebody their next assignment. The clown.
Yeah.
It's all just. And what happens is and that's kind of what they do in this whole book, is that's what they kind of talk about. He's getting reprimanded for killing kids, and they're kind of laying out where everybody lives. They're
I like
talking
this.
about it.
Conversation here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, what the fuck happened with Fuckmaster?
Right.
And they thought they're ordering him all these tools so he can go on a killing spree, but he's actually just got really into lawn care.
Yeah. They're
So
worried
it's-
about Fuckmaster's worried about him not killing anymore.
Oh, what
Yeah.
is his name?
Fuckmaster.
Fuckmaster.
And he's got kids. He was taught.
Does he? He's good at lawn care.
No, he's
Okay.
just like he got into it. He's into it right now, and they're thinking that he's losing his touch because he's changing and he's more into lawn care now than he is to going out and killing people.
And he's called Fuckmaster.
Yeah.
Yes.
So does he do a lot of that, or does he just kill people?
He's just a murderer.
Right.
Is that Bob Ross?
He's gonna kill people if they don't shave their
Bob
bush.
Ross.
There's a theory that Bob Ross was actually a serial killer.
No,
Yeah.
he was just
And what he painted was all the burial sites.
Yep.
Oh, stop.
Oh, stop it!
No,
That's
seriously.
absurd.
There's a painting he did of a tunnel of trees, and then they found like 16 bodies buried there.
He was too busy cheating
And
on his
it
wife.
looks exactly like his painting.
Mm.
I love the guy used to put a coffee in the car and just sit there and get hammered all day.
Paint my
It was just-
prison trees.
Look, Bob,
That was just a
Pretty
happy little
trees.
coincidence.
I killed somebody under this tree. Pretty little tree.
Happy little tree.
and then like right here, Grandpa murderers moving back
Sort of.
in, and they're pissed because he's actually moving back in because he's moving in early before he was allowed to, and he was bitching because the place they gave him had fleas,
Yeah.
Pretty little fleas.
and
And
they're
his son-
bitching because his
his
son's
boys were
or his
dirtbags.
nephew's gonna move in.
Hey, Double.
And then what ends up happening is that kid goes to the police, and this detective here is kind of in charge of finding these like serial killers. And he's like, I could take you there. And he's like, oh shit, And he's like, all right. And then what ends up happening at the end is they're at the front gates of the
The HOA.
Yes, of the community, and that's where it kind of ends. What'd you think of that, Lopez?
I loved it, dude. I loved it. It was good. Good concept. Haven't read anything like this before. It was awesome.
Probably true.
Yeah, it was. It really was. It was a fun read. So
And it read fast.
it
Like
did.
I couldn't believe when I first read the first page, like, well, what the hell? And then second page, and then like their whole conversation, the HR lady with Fuckmaster, he's talking about his family, talking about his kids and stuff, and it's just weird. It was good. And then the clown, remember the clown got mad at the other guy for whatever, I can't remember what the reasons were, but
He didn't like sit next to him because he thought he was a weirdo.
right,
And they're like,
right.
but you're and the clown dude's like, I
Yeah,
want to be
he's
something
looking at
else.
right. Yeah, okay.
I want to be something else. They're like, you're a clown.
Right.
He's like, I want chainsaws and stuff. And they're like, no, you got to do
Yeah.
like clown stuff. Nobody wants
Yeah.
to be a clown.
Is it it's 1 of 5, right? It's not ongoing.
Yeah, it's a mini series.
Yeah, man, it's good, dude. It's good. It's like they make comics that you can see on TV now or on a show. It's like I don't know. It's good, dude. I love seeing this on a.
Who are the creators on this?
It was Kyle something, I think.
Stinson.
Stinson.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kyle, guys.
Well, the guy's pretty cool though.
Kyle Starks,
He
Twark, Kowalski, Vladimir
Starks-
Popov,
Yep.
and Josh
That's
Reed.
must have
Peter.
rolled-
Just Peter Kowalski, Vladimir Popov, and Joshua Reed.
That's Piotr. That's Petery.
I think people
Yeah,
know
they-
Starks because I was at my
Piotr.
LCS and I kind of talked
Piotr?
about it, and
Piotr.
there were some guys there that knew Kyle Starks.
It's Iron Man's cousin.
Yeah, when I was looking for those Supergirl books, I wanted to get cover B, and the guy had got and I was like, hey, you guys got Where Monsters Lie, and the guy was like, the Kyle Starks book, and I didn't know, right? I didn't know who that was. I was like, I don't know the writer, you know what I mean? But I was like, Monsters Lie, and I got the last one. I was like, so I don't know. People are aware of Starks. I might have to look him up, see what else he's written. It's
Yeah.
pretty good.
And Ish was telling us that at his comic shop at Fantastic Worlds, it was like an instant sellout. Like people were calling for this book, and it like sold out instantly there. Which I mean, I'm sure they bought 2 copies, so probably.
Yeah, I am.
He writes a lot of Rick and Morty stuff. He did volume 5 of Rick and Morty and volume 11 of Rick and Morty.
So, if you guys really worth the pickup to go, check it out. It was a pretty fun read. I enjoyed it. It's going to be nice mini series to read.
All right, dude. I enjoyed it a lot, dude. Probably, I read a lot this week. Probably what my favorite book of the week, I guess, for this week.
Yeah, it was. I kind of agree with that. Out of the books I read this week, that was probably the one that I enjoyed the most.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Are you ready for some Punisher talk?
Sure. It's the moment of truth. The moment of truth, guys. Hope I don't fuck this up. PG-13. I cursed. I'll have to write myself up.
Oh,
You had to write yourself up.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody's reading this in the chat or any of you guys. I remember this book. I think it got a lot of flack because they were going to change the skull, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a Punisher fan. He is technically my first favorite comic book guy, but Wolverine kind of took his place. I don't even know how that happened. But this is fantastic, man. I was, I went out of town. I worked at whatever, so I got behind on this book, and I just kept putting them away in the box because so many X-Men books and other books I read. So I had some time earlier this week, and I read it from issue 4 and on. Dude, I could not stop. I read all the way to 4 to 9. So this book is written by Jason Aaron. It's basically adding layers to Frank Castle's origin in a way that's fucking fabulous, dude. And it kind of aligns with Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil run. So this is just your standard killing here.
I love the Aztecia art. He's a cool guy. He's a cool artist. He was
So this is his family right here. Same thing. unfortunately, what happens to his family, tragedy. So as you go on, that's his family, same shit. So basically, what this book is about. So the arch priestess of the hand, first appearance. Thank you, Matt. Was Daredevil Woman of Fear 3. So apparently, she's been watching Frank Castle since he was a child, right? I guess she's trying to find her Kingslayer, High Slayer, as you will. So these are these dudes are the, just give me a second here, the apostles, right? They're basically the soldiers of Ares, the god of
They
war.
give a lot of golden showers.
Golden shot, right? This is your standard scene. There. I think what was that? It was in I don't know what you call this, but it was in the Spider-Man movie with Michael Keaton. Remember when they were picking up everything that was left?
Oh, they're not damage control.
Right. Well, it's like how the Shatari dropped all their weapons and they had all that stored there.
Yeah.
That's basically what this is. Like they
This
got
looks like they're in Amazon.
They got their weapons of villains and whatever your case may be in there. So these guys are trying to rob it. And now they're getting that communication shit. Who's here. He's going in there. Frank does his thing. And it's a brutal book, man. It's a real brutal book. You got beheadings. Frank's not fucking around, dude. He's on a mission.
Oh, look, he cuts his head off.
Yeah.
But he's like, oh, I've got another one. It's awesome.
So there he is. Look at him.
With that weird skull on.
Yeah. And you know what? A lot of people gave it shit. You know what I mean? Because of Marvel, Disney, whoever, they have the reasons why they wanted to change it or go whatever, right? I'm not going to get into that. And so there was a lot of negative in the comic book community about that. Understandable. But it was smart the way they did it, how they changed it with this storyline. Really smart. So right here, he's trying to tell him who you work for. Dude's not saying shit. Okay, so those red bubbles, that's the arch priestess. She's narrating the story. She's basically talking about like Frank, like she's in love with Frank. You know what I mean? Like she's been watching him as a kid. So she's going on what she's going on about. So Frank, stabs this dude, kills him, and there you go. It opens there, and then there's Frank Castle, the Punisher, with the hand, with a bunch of fucking ninjas as backup. Pretty solid.
Yes, it is.
Well, and that's the whole reason they changed his logo, isn't it? Because he became, in the comics, in the real world, it's because of what the logo became used for and represents now. But they changed it because he's the leader of the hand.
Correct. Now it's funny how they did that because I remember, like, dude, there's the Rosenberg run. Even the fucking War of the Realms, that little Punisher kill crew when he's rolling around with Juggernaut, bro, on flying ghosts, just whacking all the trolls. I believe there's a kid that hires them on that, dude. It's a solid run if you like the Punisher, right? So it's clever how they did that, Matt. They're like, okay, well, for whatever those reasons, let's change it up, and they went this route. So the archpriestess delivers all these killers, pedophile, rapists, all that, just killers, just bad dudes, bro, and he just beheaded them one by one, and she's loving it all. She's like. It's like how she's just loving it all, dude. Like, oh man, this is who I've been waiting for my whole entire life. And look at him go and all this type of shit, just pumping it all up. This is when he had the skull. This is him in his place, in his sanctuary.
I like in his off time, he wears his original logo.
Right. Well, no, this is like a flashback. So you're right. Yeah. No, this is a flashback. So
that's how he differentiates work from play. Work for pleasure.
Like,
you change the change of the logo.
Yeah.
No, this is my at-home shirt now.
Yeah. So that's him, just chilling with his AKs on the wall, and then the hand rush him. And look at her in the background. Look at her just. I love that character, man. I solid fucking character. It's just interesting the way she's doing it. So, he obviously manhandled them. So this is just him executing people, executing.
Just another Thursday, no big deal.
Yeah, executing criminals like nothing. This is what I do. He's got the skull. He's put it up. I'm like, I'm not doing that right now. I'm beyond that right now. I'm on another mission.
Is that where he sits to ask for forgiveness? He asks forgiveness from the skull,
Yeah, it's like a
a shrine.
shrine or an
Yeah.
yeah.
And he's got a sword. And when have we seen Frank Castle, the Punisher, use a sword? Right, and this is going back to that scene where she's testing him right here with a bunch of fucking ninjas. And you know, Frank's gonna do what he's doing, just laying them out.
This dude, it looks like he's about to take a spear to the armpit there.
Look at him, bro. He's just being Frank Castle, bro. That's what he's laying motherfuckers out. Look at that.
There he goes. He did take the
Dude.
beer of the hunt.
Yeah, and the whole time she's just like, yes, this is what I've been waiting for. Finally.
I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah.
He's got swords and shit in his refrigerator.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Who
Frank
does it?
Castle. It's Frank, bro.
I thought that was like standard issue
Look, he takes
refrigerator.
If you're
ninja
gonna
stars
have
in
a
the
sword,
neck.
you got to keep it in the fridge.
Look at him.
Absolutely.
Dude, I'd be so pissed if I had a bunch of fucking ninja stars in me.
Well, what's the we've seen shit like this in movies. Didn't Mr.
Ooh, someone's gonna get
and
kinky
Mr. Smith had
later.
something like this when those bad guys rush the house and they got guns everywhere. They're just popping drawers and here's a gun.
Mr.
I
and
remember
Mrs.
that on
Smith,
it.
is that what you're talking
Yeah.
about?
I remember that on an episode of Bones.
Or was it John Wick?
John Wick does it too. John Wick
Yeah.
has guns everywhere too.
Yeah.
Dude, he's got a chainsaw now.
Yeah, where'd he get a
Yeah.
chainsaw from?
It's
I
in
guess
the
it's
freezer.
laying there on the floor.
Sword in the refrigerator. Chainsaw in the freezer.
He's dead right there because he's got a ninja star right in the carotid.
Look at that.
Right.
I mean, it's a house full of ninjas, dude, and
Magic ninja what? Magic ninja what?
look at him. I'm just
Bitch,
gonna
I'm
blow
gonna
the place
set you
up.
on
And the whole
fire.
time she's like, look at him go. Kinda
Look
like-
at you go.
Yeah, you like that?
Oh.
It's like I love it.
So when does he turn into Ghost Rider?
Oh, I didn't read that.
Dude, he needs 5 more ninja stars before he turns
Look
into
at he
that.
just pulls out a fucking look at her. What's
She's
she
in
saying?
awe. Beast be praised.
Yes. The whole time she's like in this zone of this like biblical proportion type shit. She's like, oh
It's
my god.
orgasmic for her.
He is ruggedly handsome. She's just like loving him, dude. Like
There's
look at
only
him, bro.
one.
Like so then
She's on
she's
his dick.
And she's like,
Okay, so
would you
this
like
is
some
awesome.
cookies?
This is awesome because we're only doing issue 1 right now. So this is awesome. She gives him the knife and he immediately knows what that's about. So right now she's telling him whatever it is she's telling him, et cetera, et cetera. And we'll see why eventually he goes with her.
Dude, I just like he's just walking around with a shitload of ninja stars in him. He's like, God, fuck these things.
And
Your pincushion.
she pulls up right there.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's gonna get a little
Hanky
action.
panky. So long story short, the
The
archpriestess
power of the
resurrects
beast.
his wife, his dead
Oh,
wife.
she's resurrected something.
Yeah. And that's what gets him to go that route. Yep. So he becomes the fucking high slayer of the hand right now. Yep, look at him. Mr. and Mrs.
Oh.
Castle.
Well, she still has all the bullet holes in her.
Yeah. Even one in the face. Look at it, one in the cheek.
One right in the jaw and the cheek.
Right. Man, it gets better, man. This is
Hey,
just-
man, it don't matter. Her ass is ass. Doesn't matter how many bullet holes are in her.
I mean, look, when have we seen Frank Castle smile in the comic book? Look at him.
Well, yeah, he got some, dude. Even he's got a smile.
Yeah, it's a good book, man. If there's any Punisher guys in the chat, and maybe just stop reading it just because, I understand, but give it a shot. This ain't spec. This is just a good read that I think everybody should be reading if they're a Punisher fan or or want to read something different. It's interesting. And Jason Aaron, my experience with Jason Aaron isn't that much, but I've heard he's written some good shit in the past. So
Good shit.
completely
shit.
awesome book, bro. And it only gets better, dude.
So I also read Almighty #1. It's one of those
What's
post-apocalyptic
the
things. It's kind of like in a Mad Max time. 2098, girl's been abducted, and a killer hired to find her and bring her home. And that's pretty much what happens. It starts out that she escapes. She lost her finger. She's trying to get away. They're caught up to her. They're about to kill her, and the chick that's hired to find her and bring her back, she's chilling with the sniper rifle. She's good. She's all right. She plucks them off like it ain't no thing. It's all good.
Yeah.
So she's like, come with me if you want to live. and that's pretty much what it is. They take off. She's like on this little like futuristic bike that doesn't hold a lot of gas for like speed and you know what I mean. So she's got to fill it up a lot. So they're like, what's happening is they're camping out. They're taking the back roads. So because like the main thoroughfares in this post-apocalyptic Mad Max world are like they're guarded by this gang.
Who's
and
the
this is
artist? Kyle?
It's me. I'll go back.
No,
at the end.
go ahead.
And
I like the art. I like the interiors.
And the reason she leaves and ends up getting abducted is because she was like a nurse on the front lines when everything was starting to go down. And she kind of gave a shit. So when her time was up, she's like, forget this. I split. She hitchhiked, got in with this dude. They thought they could get something off of it. Killed him. Took his shit, found her, so he took her, and that and that's how they get being captive, and now they're back, and this is the bosses are there. What the fuck's going on? They're thinking about it. They're like, do this, do that, take the major roads, and they're like, nope. And then he thinks, oh shit, you know what? They're probably not taking the major roads. They're probably taking the back roads. So now they've got people. She doesn't want to pee in front of people. But and that's what it ends up being is they're escaping. They're kind of on the run behind them. And that's kind of where it ends. Kind of interesting. I don't know if it's quite worth buying yet, Astro, if this is what you're asking about. I kind of want to see where it's going. I picked it up because it's a #1. Kind of different. Kind of the same concept as many other things. But I would, if you could, I hate to say it, but if you can find it online or know someone that has it to read it, I'm giving it to like issue 3 to see if it kind of picks up what the fuck is going on, a little more backstory, we'll see if it's good. So right now I would say it's 50-50 worth buying right now.
Well, how long did it take you to read it? Like, did you read it right straight through? Did you put it down a couple times?
No, I read it straight. I read it straight through. It was a
Okay.
fairly easy. I did this next one I put down a couple times. So the next one I have, it's called Black Tape. It's an AWA comic.
I saw this.
And instead of and here, the artist is Dalibor, whatever that fucking name is.
Solid name.
It really is.
Collegiate?
So what this one is about is this dude's a rock star and he dies. And he recorded his final album. And it's like he's like one of those Satan worshiping type of like death metal, heavy metal dudes. And he got married and he dies. And what this
Detroit
kind
Rock
of
City.
Kind of, yeah. And he goes through and what's happened is right before he died, him and his wife decided that was his old record was the last one. That was the last album for his contract. And they were going to put out this brand new album without the old record label. But what most of this book is like they're going to the funeral. And then everybody comes back and parties. And that's kind of what it's all about. But at the end of it, she stumbles across, she goes to like light the fireplace. And it moves and she finds this trail, like this hallway, and it leads to like his like devil dungeon.
His lair.
Yeah, see, it's like this hallway that he comes in, and it's like she opens it up, and it's like this devil dungeon and that's where it kind of ends. She's like, well, what the hell is this? Kind of all right. I only picked it up because it's metal and the concept's kind of cool. It's another one I wouldn't buy it. I want to see where it goes, but I don't think I would buy it. Kind of a cool concept if they go more into backstory of like maybe like his darker side.
Yeah.
But
This dungeon here is exactly why you have to get off Tinder.
Yes. But I thought it drug on a little too much through all of it didn't set up a lot of story. It set up a lot of like bullshit of going to a funeral. So I'm hoping that the next couple issues they really start to put some meat on the bone for this story to see where it's going.
Was it like a lot of like characterization, like they're talking about him and
what they were talking? They were talking more like no, they didn't. And that's the other thing, dude. They didn't really get it. Like it was a lot of like her missing him, her looking at like old pictures of him. You kind of meet like the shady manager. You meet the shady assistant. They like throw a big party at her house, and you know what I mean. There's a lot of stuff going on in the first one that really I don't think really ties into the story much. I think it was kind of filler to get to this.
Right.
That she finds this.
So they're
demon.
trying to hook you on the last panel, huh? The good old last panel trick.
And I really think that's what it is.
Yeah, I don't like when they do that.
But it's worth. I'm gonna get same with the other book. I'm gonna give it a couple to see what it does, and if it doesn't, then it's 3 issues is usually what I give a book. Because if you're not hooked by 3 issues, you're not going to keep reading it.
Right.
So, but that is. So if any of these sounded interesting, give them a try. You might like them. If you read them and liked them better, let me know. But that was kind of my thoughts on these other 2.
I definitely recommend Where Monsters Lie. That one, if you can find it, it's only cover price. Find it. I think that's really fucking good.
Yeah, it's definitely Where Monsters Lie was probably the best read of the week for me.
Fuck yeah, dude. If the second issue is just as good, it'll quickly be like my favorite book I'm reading.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure.
Good job, Mr. Kyle.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
And that Punisher book, guys. If there are any Punisher guys in the chat, give it a shot, man.
So we still got about 10 minutes before Mr. Tim Seeley comes on. So why don't I switch over and let's do some movie quotes.
Oh, okay. I got one.
And let's see if I can
see if you can stump us.
I got one.
Oh, you know what? You start, Lopez. You're right.
Okay.
You got one. You start. You start us off tonight.
Okay. I think this was 1984 movie. I think. You're a Neo Maxi Zoom Dweeby. Yep.
You're a Neo Maxi Zoom
Dweeby.
Dweeby.
Yep.
Hmm.
This is my
Matt's over
Pure Genius
Googling.
starring Val Kilmer.
no. This is my third favorite movie of all time.
Weird Science.
No,
Tron.
you're in that era though. You're in that genre.
The Notebook.
I can't say any more because he'll be giving it away to you, Mr. Sam.
Is it a John Hughes movie?
I will not answer that,
Love
Mr.
Actually.
Kyle, as he's
Better off dead.
Nope.
Oh, that's a great one.
$2. It's the one where they steal the nerds have her Molly Ringwald's panties.
Land Before Time.
Revenge of the Nerds.
Breakfast Club?
That's 16 cat. Huh?
Is it the Breakfast Club?
Matt, you fucking. Not only are you handsome, but good job.
He
Garfield.
Googled it.
Yes,
He Googled
it's
it.
the Breakfast Club. It's
Okay.
Judd Nelson telling Anthony Michael Hall because when they're at lunch and he going through his lunch, he just got to cut off. He got a sandwich with the edges cut off. He's got a soup. He's got your standards, whatever, bro. And he tells him you're a neo maxi zoom dweeby.
What's the joke that he tells while he's walking on the ceiling?
Oh, dude, I don't
Come
know.
on.
So he,
Who walks into a bar?
yeah, he walks in. Yeah. But fuck, dude, that is, bro. That I fucking love that movie, and I love that song to that movie. I love that movie. I've seen it 50 million times. I got the DVD, got the Blu-ray. Yes. All right, good job, Matt.
Do you have the laser disc or the VHS?
I do
Is it a
not.
9.8 sealed copy?
I wish I did. The only VHS tapes I have is Batman, Michael Keaton, and the Pearl Jam and Sessions Yield album. That's
I
it.
have a VHS of the Breakfast Club 9.4.
Got
I
Land
sold
Before
all my
Time.
DVDs. Let's not go.
One of the
there.
corners is a little scuffed.
I sold them on.
Aren't they always?
Just because for money. I didn't
99.9%.
necessarily need to sell them, but I just did just because they were in the way, and I kind of regret that now. Because I had some, some shit. I guess I don't.
All right,
Good
are you
job,
guys ready?
Yep.
No problem. Glad you're here. Okay. You guys ready? You ready? Therefore, it stands to reason, does it not, sister dear, that we need to find the book, brew the potion, and suck the lives out of the children of Salem before
That's Hocus
sunrise.
Pocus.
Otherwise, it's curtains. We evaporate.
Matt,
Who
That's
says it?
Hocus Pocus.
Who says it?
Notebook.
Bette Midler.
Midler.
Yeah,
Midler's
Bette Midler's character.
And her name is
Matt, Kyle,
Um,
you come with these
Sanderson.
long-winded quotes, and people just get them
I
into.
can't think of her name.
Winifred.
Winifred Sanderson.
I will say Hocus Pocus, the second one.
All three of them are kind of same stuff.
Here, I'll give you guys all a softball. You ready?
Yeah.
Discovered by the Germans in 1904, they named it San Diego, which of course in German
That's
means a
Anchorman.
whale's vagina.
Yeah, that's Anchorman, Ron Burgundy. Yeah.
Oh boy.
And my third one's easy too. Well, I generally come in at least 15 minutes late. I use the side door. That way Lumberg can't see me. And after that, I sort of space out for an hour. I do that for probably another hour after lunch too. I'd say in a given week, I probably only do about 15 minutes of real actual work.
Office Space.
Who says it?
The main guy.
See,
I don't know. I don't remember the guy's name.
Is that his name in the movie, the main guy?
Your mom is the main guy.
It was Peter Gibbons,
Yeah.
played by Ron Livingston.
Yeah.
Dr.
And that
Livingston.
burned about 3 minutes. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, let's hit the anime then. Let's hit big
Oh, we
news.
got worst and best covers of the week still. That's what's next up in the slide. That's what we
We
want to
got
do.
lots
Or
of
do we wanna
slides
skip
we
to
can go
anime?
through, Kyle. Don't need to hold out.
Okay, here. I got another one for you guys. You ready? You guys ready?
Hit us.
You're a great cheerleader, Aaron. It's just that maybe you're not boyfriend material.
It's Bring It On.
It is Bring It On.
Fucking A, man. Not even close. I'm not
Okay,
a
here,
nerd,
here.
man. I thought I was a nerd, but I'm not.
That's right, Allison.
You're fine.
My father was the alphabet bomber. He may have been crazy, but he was my pop. Only one I ever had. That's right, all in alphabetical order. Car wash, drugstore. I used to lay in my crib and hear him scream in his sleep, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, boom, boom. My mother tried to stop him. She couldn't even spell, for Christ's sakes, but they fried her too.
That's a paragraph. That's not even a quote. Listen, our legal expert, Sam, is that a quote or is that a paragraph?
Yeah, it's a quote. Quote can be
Quote,
any length.
What
Quote
is
can
it,
be any
guys?
length.
Come on.
Okay. I'm a,
The alphabet bomber, man.
I got
know
one
this
for you.
I know
bring
this
it on,
one.
Matt, because Kyle.
Oh,
Is it Mystery Men? Is it Mystery Men?
No, it's not Mystery Men. But I guess math is more important. so
Oh
go
no, no,
ahead.
sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Go ahead,
No, yours
Kyle.
is way more
No,
important.
no,
Go
it's
ahead.
not. I just wasn't paying attention.
Go ahead. It's cool. I just
because
didn't
we
read
all
a whole
gave
bunch
go
of
up.
ahead,
stuff.
go ahead,
We all
my
get-
bad.
Here, here, wait, hold on. Let me do this for you too.
Yeah, make yourself big.
There you go, Matt. We are all in tune on you. What is your
No,
movie quote?
it's my bad.
That's a
I
handsome
made
dude.
mistake.
That's a
I made a
handsome dude.
mistake.
That's a handsome dude.
That's what I get for not paying attention.
No. Go ahead. What's your
No,
movie
you're
quote?
good. You're good. I'm good.
What's your movie quote?
No, I'm good.
Dude, what is
Awkward.
that? What is
Let's move on.
alphabet bomber?
Well-
I've seen that.
That's what I mean, dude. That's not. You know what, Kyle? Your quotes are hard, bro.
Is it?
Okay.
Is it like Beetlejuice?
No,
No,
it's from
no.
Crybaby.
A phenomenal movie.
Crybaby, the
Wayne
Johnny Depp
Crybaby
one.
Walker,
Oh my
Johnny
gosh.
Depp, 1990.
Man,
Yeah.
I didn't like
Was it?
that movie.
Was it Hatchet Face that said that, or Crybaby?
No, it was Johnny Depp who said it.
Yeah.
See, it's not fair.
Cry, baby, cry.
I think Sam, Kyle, and Matt went to school together, bro. So there's a connection there.
Okay, Matt, what's your movie quote?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I don't have one.
Yeah, you do.
No, I'm good. I don't have one.
No, you're just so self-absorbed that
I
we
just
have-
was
we
reading
have to
something and
know
I
it
wasn't
too.
paying attention. Sorry, that's my bad. Move on to best and worst covers of the week.
Yeah, let's do that.
I'm bringing my A game next time, Mr.
I don't
Kyle.
want- I don't
No,
want to end.
I'm so curious in Matt's movie
I don't want
quote.
to do.
though.
I don't want to
can't-
do the WTF manga of the week before
I can't move on from it. I have to hear it.
Matt,
now.
bring it. Come on, man.
Okay, Jesus Christ, because I was reading something. Empire had the better ending. I mean, Luke gets his hand cut off, finds out Vader has a father. Han gets frozen and taken away by Boba Fett. It ends on such a down note. I mean, that's what life is—a serious down ending.
I mean, that's it. It's a
Clerks.
Kevin Smith. Yeah.
It is Clerks. Good job, Sam.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh, Tim's here. The most
I'm not a nerd,
on-time
bro.
guy.
Like, not a
That's
nerd.
why he's a man
Gotta
amongst
love
men.
punctuality.
That's why he's a
Punctuality,
man
the
amongst
courtesy of kings.
men. Welcome, Tim. How's it going?
Hey, let's put him in the position of honor, though, Kyle. Let's not have him at the bottom. You put me or Hartman at the bottom. There we go.
How are
There
you
we go.
doing today?
Not bad. Just got home. My brother had a art gallery show, so we went and did that, and then got some tacos. So I'm loaded up with fine Mexican food, and I'm ready to go.
Tacos.
Awesome.
Love tacos.
So,
Well,
who wants to start?
do we want to introduce the guest?
Oh, I already know who he is. I don't need to introduce him.
Yeah, the audience, the chat may not know. Jeez, Kyle.
I have a question real quick off the bat, right off the rip. You said you had tacos, Tim?
I did, yeah.
What kind of tacos?
So there's a place here in Chicago called Taquito, and they do all kinds of stuff. But they had a pistachio salsa, and I had a little chicken al pastor taco, and then I had a arrachera as well. So,
Arrachera, okay.
yeah, good stuff.
We
Yeah,
asked
I'm
the
in the
hard-hitting
Chicago
questions
area.
here,
That's
Tim.
nice.
Important stuff, yeah.
Nice.
But everybody, we've got the great Tim Seeley here, writer, author, you name it. This guy kills it doing it. I've met you a couple times, and it was always great talking to you. You're a fun person to talk with. I remember the first time I met you was at, it was for the 2016 Rebirth. You had done WonderCon. And I was grilling you about Nightwing. I was just rattling off and Nightwing questions, and you were so nice about it, and you were so kind because I was like, "Are you going to do this with them? Are you going to do this? You need to do this. What about this? What about?" And you were like, "Well, I'm going to do. You know what? Read it."
I go usually, yeah.
That's the only answer.
But I mean, what was it like when that's sort of? I'm going to start with Nightwing because I'm a huge Nightwing guy,
Sure.
and I know you're a huge GI Joe guy, huge Transformers guy. There's nothing that we cannot talk to you about.
Yo,
But when they got to do this rebirth, Nightwing, what was it like? What was the pitch? What was your? How did they come to you about wanting to do this?
Well, I'd done Grayson with the character Dick Grayson,
Which was
before
awesome
that.
too.
That was kind of the end of the New 52 era, and that was kind of like a sort of a last second project, and it was kind of just jammed together. And I didn't know Tom King at the time; he didn't know me. We had two separate pitches, and they stuck them together and said, "Could you guys write this together?" And I think it went fairly well, and it sold well. So when we started hearing rumblings of Rebirth, we got kind of scared because we're like, well, we're doing this book, and I'm pretty sure this is not going to be part of this, the relaunch, because they're going to go back to the basics kind of thing. And so they started kind of kicking around, like, especially the editors were sort of, deciding which people they want to work with, and if they had people that they enjoyed working with that they wanted to. So Tom and I had talked about, we're like, well, they're probably going to ask one of us to do Nightwing and one of us to do Batman. And I was like, oh man, they're definitely not going to ask me to do Batman. So I was kind of ready to do Nightwing. And I had told him, like, I loved Dick Grayson as a character. I loved writing Nightwing, and I loved Robin, but I didn't care that much about Nightwing, honestly. To me, well, the version that they were kind of was going to be this sort of like, he's in Bloodhaven and he has two Eskrima sticks and he fights a dude who is a big fat guy. I was like, that's Daredevil. That's Daredevil.
Yes.
So I wasn't super excited about doing just that. So, but they were cool about it, and I got to, they asked me to do it. And I was like, yeah, I would love to, as long as I can kind of mess around with it. And then they flew us out to LA, and I had this meeting with Jeff Johns, and I'd never met Jeff before, and he was just like, like he knows everything there is to know about DC characters. He knows why they're popular. And so I pitched him my thing, and he was like, yeah, okay, here's what it sounds like you're saying. And he pitched me back this thing that I was like, I mean, that's not what I'm saying, but you're right, that's better. So he said, we're better than Batman, and it's going to be about how, Dick is this trained sidekick, and he's like on his way to becoming better than Batman, and he's nicer, and that's the whole sort of thing. And he's friends with everybody. So that's kind of how we approached it. And, it was super helpful to have Jeff there. It was also super difficult to do 2 books a month. It was 2 issues a month. It was bi-monthly for almost 9 months, I think it was, and it maybe even longer. And so it was a lot of work, and we burned through every story idea I had really quickly. So it was a great ride. I had a lot of fun. I made a lot of friends. And I, to this day, it's probably the highest selling single issue I ever did was Rebirth 1. I think was like 90,000 or 80,000 copies or something, which it's hard to do then, before then, and after it. So it was a great game. I love that character. I had a lot of fun with it. I think to this day I would have been better continuing the Grayson idea, which I think was a better setup and something I could do more with. But fans want the Nightwing setup, so that's what gave it.
I mean, Secret Agent Grayson was awesome too, though.
Well, it just was new, and it had. I kind of felt like it just had more avenues to do something. It has more of the sort of Marvel thing, which is the I can't but I must. That like, right? That's what the Marvel thing does. Is I can't be a superhero because Aunt May will have a heart attack if she finds out, but I must because that kind of idea. And Grayson had that. It had can't must, and I think it's hard to do that with Nightwing. Like, why is he running around in Bloodhaven? Like, that's you have to come up with a forced reason, and obviously other people made it work. Tom Taylor clearly made it work. So, but I had a good time with it, and I'm very glad I did it, and I got to play with a lot of my favorite toys, which I loved Checkmate, so I got to put them in some of those stories, and I loved Huntress. I got to put her in some, and all the sort of the runoffs, the characters that were the kind of shitty villains from the from the Dixon run. I like putting those guys in there, and most importantly, Defacer, which was my favorite character to write in there besides Dick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was fun. Yeah, that was. I thought you did great. I thought it was a great read. It was. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I enjoyed grilling you on trying to see where you were going to go with it.
Yeah, I mean,
but I
at the
did take your advice.
I probably didn't know. I mean, we're like, because the rebirth thing was, ostensibly like kind of restacking the deck back towards
Yeah.
the classic versions of things, but you know, we didn't know if we were going to use Blockbuster, and we didn't know if we were going to use some of that stuff. So, a big part of those first few issues, like, we got to come up with a new villain. So it was kind of a combination of myself and Jeff, and then the editor Rebecca Taylor, like kicking things around to get to Raptor, which I think he worked pretty well. But we were just like, we're not sure, if people are going to accept a new villain and all this sort of stuff. So, but it was really interesting, and I'm glad it did it.
So we tried to get Tony to come on with you to talk about Local Man #1, because that's your guys' new book coming out. He's a friend of the show, and he ignored us, so you can tell him thanks a lot next time you talk to him.
He's on a cruise, so
oh, okay, I don't blame him. It's okay, I forgive him.
He had not had a vacation, maybe in 15 years or something. So he took a vacation the week the book is due to Image. The week we have to do all the production, all the cover stuff, all that. Tony's off on a boat somewhere. He's trying to relax, and we're like pestering him. Hey, we need this file that we like. So real fun for Tony, I'm sure.
What was it like? So how did you guys? We'll talk about Local Man. What did you guys do? Did you pitch him an idea? Did he pitch you guys an idea? Were you guys at a con and mixing ideas, or what? How did this all come about?
Well, I mean, I've known Tony for I don't know, 10 some years, probably more than that. He's a friend of a friend. He good friends and studio mates with my buddy Chris Burnham. Chris and I used to be studio mates. So I met Tony through going out to LA and stuff, and we would always like whenever we get together. He loves the '90s stuff, so he would be like, "Hey, I saw you drew Wildcats. Hey, I saw you did a Snowman for Avatar with Matt Martin." Like he was the only one who liked certain things that I did that no one else cared about, and so that was kind of like a early connection. But we had, right before it was January 2020, I went to a show in Long Beach. Tony was there, so we all went out. He and a bunch of friends, we all know each other from comics, and so we went out to a restaurant. We had burgers and fries and bullshit, and so I told Tony I was kind of working on a thing that might be kind of fun for him. And he said, "Oh yeah, let me know about it." And then I'm pretty sure he gave me COVID, or somebody did. I got COVID before anybody else at that show, which was fun. And so I got home like in late January. I was like, a mysterious illness. I go to the doctor. She tells me, you have a flu-like cold, but you haven't been to China, so it can't be COVID. But clearly it was. And so I was sick for a long time. And then we all got locked down. And then, I emailed Tony while we're all sort of stuck in the house and said, I was thinking about what you said, and I have this idea, and it's kind of loose. And this is like maybe March of 2020, probably. And so, he was instantly. I think I sent him a couple ideas, and he was like, "Man, I really like that one." And he threw in a bunch of ideas that sort of made it more what it is. Ways to kind of play with the '90s thing and do this flip book, and so, he had so many of the ideas that I think we ended up keeping. It was sort of my nugget. Tony's added all the important stuff. And so we just riffed on it. We're bored, and we were all stuck at home for that first 5-6 months. And so we worked on Local Man, did character designs, wrote outlines, and just kind of sent it back and forth for almost 2 years, I think is like I drew the first, backup story, the flip book story, like in September of 2020, I think. So like, right. Like it's almost 3 years old at this point, 2.5. So it was something that we kind of kicked around for a long time, and it was like a comfort project. Like nobody could leave the house, so we would just call each other on Zoom like this and talk shit. And then I think part of it was like, oh, we should really put this book out now. That would be a good idea. So I kind of bullied Tony into now being the time to release it. And so we sent it to Image, and they were enthusiastic about us working together. So now it comes out February 22nd, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a rural crime noir superhero action.
Exactly. Yes. I mean,
That's kind of cool. I
Yeah.
like that idea.
I mean, it's mostly a kind of crime. It's kind of a detective story, small town rural noir. But the background of it is that this guy, or our main character, who ends up sort of being this detective, he was this sort of young '90s superhero named Crossjack, and he joined like the biggest team in the world, and it's this sort of kind of Youngblood, Wildcat, Cyberforce pastiche. Uh, and he was like on top of the world, a celebrity superhero, loved by millions. And then, he falls and he has to come crawling back to his hometown. Now he's in his 40s, and he's got no prospects and he's got nothing, and all he has to show for it is like this bunch of stuff that no one cares about anymore. And uh, but he also can't be a superhero. He didn't own his name. He doesn't own the shield. He doesn't own any of it. And so he's kind of trying to figure out what to do with himself, and he kind of gets involved in this a murder. And so he's trying to look for the person who did it, but it's got a lot of twists in it. So it's kind of a detective story more than anything, I think. But it's got this background of all this '90s kind of superhero action, lots of homages to that stuff. But it's also kind of a new thing. We kind of thought thematically it's sort of about the early Image stuff, which so full of potential and didn't always pay off. I mean, a lot of that stuff, we were so excited about, if you remember as a kid, getting some of that stuff and be like kind of disappointed, but also like where Image went, and kind of, so it's also a celebration of how great Image is, and so it's all of our things put together, really.
So do you guys both write and draw it, since you guys are both writers and artists? And like you did the cover to #1, right?
No, we split it. It's both
You
of us.
guys, it's both of you?
Yep.
That's awesome. So you can be like, you know what, I'm just going to draw the picture on the back, or like
We split it. Everything is a jam, and the way we split the writing duties is kind of, we get on the phone and we plot out what's going to happen, and then I sort of write one draft and I send it to Tony, and then he writes another draft, and then if it's the first part of the story, he draws it, and sometimes I draw things in certain panels like flashbacks and stuff, and then in the other side, I draw it, and sometimes Tony does it, and then we just kind of, when we're doing the lettering, just pass it back and forth until it's perfect. So it's I mean, this is the way comics used to be made, but between multiple people who could write and draw, which it's only sort of more recently this idea of like separating all these stuff. So, but it allows us to do. Tony wanted to try a new style. He was really interested in trying something a little more realistic. He'd been doing, sort of ponies and cartoonier stuff, which he's really good at. But this allows him to try something a little bit different, and then so he gets to go forward, and then I get to go backwards, because I haven't drawn superhero stuff in so long. I used to draw G.I. Joe, and I used to draw Wildcats, and I love doing that sort of superhero stuff. And it sort of stopped when I became a writer, and then I would only draw horror stuff. I only draw fantasy stuff or something. So, so I get to come back and do which is very sort of natural for me and almost easy, which is just to draw like stuff I grew up on, like big crazy action monsters, superhero guys, and hot ladies and stuff, and also kind of make fun of it, which is a big part of the book, is that it's a little bit of a satire of that stuff while being one of those things that it makes.
I love it. That's great. That's a nice. I like that. I like that you guys are doing that. It's like throwing it back, and so you've got the nods to everything. You can laugh about it. I mean, that's great. I'm excited to read it. When I first saw that both of you guys were doing a project together, I was like, it's a home run without even reading it. Because
Then Tony, send you the issue. We have the issue. We could have sent it to you. I could have sent you a PDF.
Oh yeah, nobody's. Thanks a lot, Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a question, Kyle.
Go for it.
Rosa Naranjo. Shit, I can't. Even, I speak Spanish. I can't even read it. Rosa Naranjo, aka Miss Constance.
Yeah.
Right. How do you pronounce her name? Her last name?
Naranjo.
Yeah. No, Durabind.
Oh, Darabend, yeah, which means of the
Darabend.
night.
West of
Uh,
Sundown, dude. That's I like that book, man. It's kind of like I'm reading a novel in a way. I was just
Yeah.
wondering where'd you come up with her character, because it's interesting. I've read every issue, got every book, every cover. I love vampires, so I was just wondering how'd you come up with that character?
Well, I mean, so that's another pandemic-born idea, which was, that sort of September of 2020. When it looked like we were definitely going to be stuck in the house for a year or more. I reread all the old classic horror novels I had loved as a kid, and I haven't read in so long. So I reread Dracula and Frankenstein and The Invisible Man, which I had loved as a kid.
Yeah,
Carmilla, and I spent like a month to just reread those books, um, and I'd always want to do a western. I kept telling people someday I'm going to do a western. I promise. I love westerns. I have since I was a kid. My grandfather was a huge western fan, so I was always stuck watching some John Wayne thing, and so the idea just came, after I read those books, and I realized time wise, they all take a place roughly around 1890 or so.
yeah.
Takes a few years.
1861.
Yeah. So, and so the idea was sort of like, well, what if, we took these characters and we put them in the American Old West, which is in this, we're picking around 1870 something roughly, and so that would make the Invisible Man uh, roughly a teenager, maybe between 17 and 19. We don't know exactly how old he is in the book, but and then I started kind of counting back the other characters. That would make Dr. Moreau a certain age. That would make, and so then I had a rough idea of it, but it was actually the same group of dudes. Aaron Campbell was part of that. So the friends of mine who would just get together and Zoom and like just try to keep our humanity. And Aaron is an old friend of mine, and I know if I didn't tell him about it, he would be mad. So I told him this idea, and he came up with all kinds of stuff. He knows tons about New Mexico. I had this rough idea for a vampire who was a Latino vampire who had gone to New York City, in about the 1870s,
Yep.
when Tammany Hall and all that sort of stuff was going on, and who was a sort of had blended in, and no one knew that she was actually,
Right.
from Central America, and so a big part of that story, was her home in New York City gets destroyed by hunters, and so she has to flee because in the original Dracula story, of course, a big part of Dracula is that he has to travel with his soil, right? The soil of his.
Yes.
And so we thought, well, what
Yeah.
if the soil of your homeland was from New Mexico? So Aaron and I kept coming up with all these ideas, and he had all this research that he wanted to use. And so West of Sundown was born. We had all kinds of titles. Aaron came up with the title, and so it was just it was something we wanted to do that could let us be a little bit literary. Like you mentioned, it kind of feels like a novel. It's
It does.
it's very purposeful that way. It's
Right.
meant to be sort of dense. And then there's an artist here, Jim Terry. He's a incredible artist, friend of mine here in Chicago. And he was another guy. It's like, if I don't tell Jim about it, he'll be fucking pissed. So I told
Yeah.
him I had this idea, and I said the way I pitched it to Jim was, what if Sergio Leone directed a Hammer horror movie? And Jim was like, you got to let me do that book. So we put that one together around November of 2020 and pitched it to Vault. And so they were happy to do it. They really liked the idea. It's probably my favorite book. I love that book. I wish I could do it forever.
I know. Man. I want to ask spoilers, but I'm not going to, because I hope Dooley O'Shaughnessy.
Yeah,
I
Dooley.
hope, yeah. Because I hope. Yeah, I'm not. I just hope it works out for him with her, because that little relationship, and then you do have like the Frankenstein guy.
Yeah.
And you got the scientist, and he called Frankenstein like a second rate, and he's got his monster. I really enjoy it. I enjoyed the first arc. The first arc, dude, I couldn't put it down. And then you got the roadie.
Yeah.
The roadie is it's out there. It's out there. I like it. I'm on
It
this shit
blends
too.
like two of my favorite things that I like to read about. And I love like rock and roll and metal, and then like possession.
Yes, exorcism.
Stuff and all that, like mixing that stuff together. Reading that first issue, because we reviewed it on the show because we do comic reviews. We just got done doing comic reviews, and we were right before you came on. And I mean, was that what was your idea for coming up with that? Like, I know a lot of it was good music, right? Like,
Well,
Yeah, go ahead. Well, I mean, and the idea basically, I'd always wanted to do a thing. I really like, like the origins of kind of where the Bible gets its stuff, because the Christian Bible steals a lot from other religions. That's not a rip or anything. It's true. It kind of absorbed a lot of pagan religions and took the best parts, and so like Jesus comes from all kinds of sun stories. He's a little bit Egyptian religion. He's a little bit Apollo. He's all those sort of things. But the demon stuff came from these earth spirits, essentially. And so what Christianity would do is when they would kind of move into an area and want to convert the locals, they would make their old religion the new the new hell, right? The new bad stuff. So all these sort of earth spirits, which daemons was sort of the term for them, would become the demons. Now they were part of the story and they were bad guys. So it's interesting to sort of see like where just the historical version of it. So I always wanted to do a story where you refer to those old versions of what demons were, what hell used to look like. Hell used to be cold. Hell wasn't hot because hell was the furthest from the sun, which God was, Christian God is a sun god. And so, it was a cold place. And so just kind of kicking around that stuff. So that was always in my head, just tons of research about it because I'm weird that way. But the roadie was just a character. So I just had a background. I knew there war in hell. I don't know, something. But the character of the roadie just kind of fully fledged came into my head because I was listening to a bunch of Motley Crue, and which is not something I always do, but I was thinking about the Sunset Strip and how I'd once done a tour of LA where they showed us all these bars in Los Angeles where those bands used to play, and the whiskey and all that sort of stuff. And it was such a moment in time, and so I kind of had this idea of what if Doctor Strange had worked at the Whiskey A Go Go, right? That was kind of the initial idea. But then the dad stuff where it really came because I have a 3-year-old. She was born just before the pandemic started, and so I just spent all this time with her. That I'm 46. I'm not a young guy, and for me to be a dad now and to sort of have a kid in a very fucked up world was it was like an inspiration for a story of like, what if now that I have this person that I'm responsible for and the world outside is so fucked up, and what would I do to find her if I lost her? And that's kind of where that came from. And the idea is I go through hell, and then my thought was, well, I'd also like to use that hell of the weird dirt demons and stuff that it was always attached to maggots and flies and things that came out of the ground. So that's kind of how we, the visual inspiration for the roadie's demons.
Real quick, I like that scene when they're outside the bar or the club, and it's Sorority talking to his friend, and she comes out. I think the person that works inside comes out, and there's a brief conversation, but they bring up that I'm 46. I'm your age, so I'm a 90s guy. That music, and they bring up Nirvana, I believe it is, and he talks about how that. Oh, I hate Nirvana because it wiped away everything, that little genre of hair bands. Wiped them all away. And then, they have their conversation. I thought that was cool as hell. When I read that, I was like, oh, he's got to be within my age and era of music. Because it's funny, we just had that conversation amongst each other about that era of music. It's great. And real quick, I don't know if you like Star Wars, but would you write Star Wars?
Wait, behind me? Where's my? I gotta do the air. I got a Star Wars.
I didn't see that.
See right there.
Yeah,
we had
there you go. Astro Wizard had it too. That's where I got the Would you? So I'm assuming you do. Would you write Star Wars if given the opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a freelancer, so there's a lot of stuff that I would probably definitely consider. Obviously, and Star Wars is a good paycheck. I have noticed myself that as I don't know, as I get older a little bit, there's some things that I like that I'm not as well suited to write as I might think. And Star Wars might be that. I don't know. I think I love science fiction, but I think, I do money shot and stuff. I have a feeling I would have a hard time not making fun of elements of Star Wars, which I guess is sort of part of it. But And I think like as a writer, I'm more of a Star Trek guy, even though for whatever reason I'm probably more that guy. But I don't know. I'm really comfortable writing Masters of the Universe, which is sort of a similar fan thing for us of a certain era, and I'm very comfortable writing that. So yeah, shit, maybe I'd be good at it. I do know it would have to be sort of, probably. I don't know if I would be like a guy to do Andor or the Mandalorian or something because, well, that's kid stuff and it should be right. That's kind of how I feel about it. So, but yeah, I probably would. I'd probably give it a shot.
You need to do like an adult, really hardcore Star Wars where
Yeah,
there's a lot of blood and a lot of arms get cut off, and you see it. And
yeah. That's the thing is I wouldn't want to do that to Star Wars. I guess that's the thing is like it should be. Not
have
like
you ever?
yeah.
You got I'm sure you got an idea for a Star Wars character you've sketched.
Well, I put them in. I do, and I put them in Money Shot. There's a whole planet. It was kind of like a Star Wars riff I had where it was like this aquatic planet, and so it was like, but while the water dried up, so now it was like this like barbarian savage land. I put that in Money Shot. It's in the first arc. There you go.
So I got another question from the chat. Astro, he says, Gwen, / 8 Billion Genies, what has been your favorite series you've worked on in the past?
Well, I didn't work on 8 Billion Genies. That's my buddy Ryan, who lives down the street from me. That's Ryan Brown. Good book, though. Great book. I didn't work on that one. But I don't know. Favorite series, I guess. I mean, I usually say / because I've done it for 20 years. It's paid my bills for a significant part of my life. And it's the comic I made up to do everything I wanted to do. I want to do like a B-more movie horror thing, and I want an excuse to draw hot girls, and I want an excuse to, work with the Suicide Girls. And I got to do all that stuff because of / So, that one's pretty high up there. I love Money Shot, Revival. Those are books I've got posters of them right behind me, so clearly I like them somewhat. But I don't know, I guess the longer I do this job and sort of the farther you get away from some of your stuff, the more you like the old ones. And so the ones that like just come out, I usually tend to be sort of like unsure about them. I do love Local Man. I hope everybody likes it as much as I do. It just feels like, I was really looking for something to be as fun as / and so far, Local Man is that. It's as fun for me to do as / was when I first started it.
Well, with Gwen, with the Gwenverse book, did you approach Marvel with that? Did Marvel approach you? And kind of what was your process that you went through of thinking up that story and kind of writing that?
So they asked me about it, which was a it was a surprise because I wasn't sure what brought them to be like, hey, you might be good at Spider-Man, but it was perfect timing because my daughter is obsessed with Spidey's Amazing Friend, and Ghost Spider Gwen is a huge part of that show, and my kid loves that character. So and also I had bought her some posters from my friend Robbie Rodriguez. Robbie designed Gwen, created her. So I'm very familiar with the character. So they had contacted me and they said we have this rough idea to combine Gwen with. It was actually the Night Gwen, the Nighthawk version that came out of the Jason Aaron's Heroes Reborn stuff, and they kind of had a rough idea to combine those. And then they said, well, what if we had a bunch of different variations of her? And so I just said, they said we got Peach Momoko to design some stuff, and what do you think she should do? I was like, I don't know, have Peach design some characters, and I'll come up with a plot and give me the characters, and I'll make it work. And they liked that because it was fast and easy, and that's how I did it. I mean, Peach designed a Cap, a Iron Man, the Nighthawk one, and so I just came up with something based around that. It was like it was improv comedy. It was like, and what, and then okay, and then I just kind of wrote it that way, and it was a blast to make. And now I have a comic I can give my kid. She just destroys it, but for me that part, and I don't know, just having something. I'm a firm believer that the future of comics is teenage girls, and I have a lot of evidence to back that up. And so I'm always happy to have something that they can read. I mean, / I think is something they do read. I'm not sure their parents appreciate it, but Gwen is like that thing that I can connect to that audience with too.
Yeah, clear.
Interesting.
They got another question from the chat. Is there any original art you could show us?
I mean, I got a whole website, Cadence comic art.
I was
Yeah.
looking at it, man. You got He-Man on there, you got Transformers on there, you got everything on there. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, so a big part of my side of the business personally is that I sell the originals. I haven't done a lot of monthly panel work lately. I've been writing pretty much for the past 6 or 7 years, pretty much full time. But I have lately got back into drawing stuff. So, all West of Sundown, I do covers on. I do covers on Money Shot. I do stuff like back, those hack / covers I do. So I did a lot of cover work in the last 4 or 5 years. Original art is all on my my art dealer's page, Cadence Comic Art. You can go to my page. I have tons of stuff on there. But I sell it because I don't want it in the house. My house is full of nerd shit already. You can have it. So please go buy it. It's on sale. I think I've got commissions up. Also, I opened up a commission round. So I'll draw whatever the hell you want me to draw. Yeah, there you go. Cadence. So you see a lot of the originals. I try to, one of the things my art dealer is big about is those are raw scans, so they're not adjusted. It's just that's what the board look like. So sometimes you can see the blue sketched lines behind it. I think that makes them kind of authentic. Yeah, you got West of Sundown covers on there, and some other / stuff. All kinds. I mean, again, this is 20 years worth of stuff. So a lot of stuff is gone, but there's X-Men stuff on there that I drew, and Exiles, and Wildcats, and G.I. Joe, all kinds of stuff.
Oh, real quick, what's your favorite G.I. Joe character?
Well, my favorite design from G.I. Joe and toy is the Alley Viper, which is he's orange and blue, and he looks so goddamn cool. Always been a favorite. And then my favorite just sort of idea character that I always really like. Well, Baroness is probably my favorite to draw. Like hot leather-clad European librarian is obviously up my alley. But
with glasses.
With glasses. And then there was a character that, I always loved the idea. I had the toy as a kid. He was from Slaughter's Marauders. His name was Mercer. He was a former Cobra trooper.
Yeah.
Right.
I loved that idea.
The vest? Yeah. He had the vest?
Yeah, vest, yeah.
Yeah, the orange, yeah.
He wasn't used much in the Marvel stuff. The animated movie, obviously, when Sergeant Slaughter gets called to fight Cobra Law, he brings all the guys. And
right. Yeah. Mercer with I know who you're talking about. That's awesome.
You better.
I mean,
I had the toy. That's why I know, because I had Slaughter, his vehicle, and I had all his guys.
Yeah, the Slaughter's Marauders.
There's a part. I don't know if it's G.I. Joe in a movie where it's him and Falcon. That guy, they're infiltrating Cobra Base and they're going through the vents, the ducts.
Yep.
Awesome.
And that's when there's a moment in that movie that I always remember when Sergeant Slaughter is telling Falcon, he says, "I'll send you home in a ditty bag, an itty ditty bag." So there you go.
Yeah.
Classic G.I. Joe moment that stuck with me forever.
That's good stuff.
Now you said that you think the future of comics is going the way of the teenage girl. What kind of leads you to believe that?
I mean,
that's an interesting comment.
Well, so I mean, I think people have this tendency to. Most people our age, dudes, tend to think of comics like as Marvel and DC, and maybe you think of some Image books every once in a while, and that's kind of I think comic book stores think of it that way too. But if you ever go to a bookstore, I mean, we're a tiny percentage of that, and it's definitely manga is huge. YA books, the sales numbers on something like Raina Telgemeier's books like Smile or Guts, it's more than pretty much every Marvel book that came out that month when she releases one. And so I'm talking about the medium of comics, not superheroes, because that's just a genre. But the medium of comics is for readers, and an unfortunate truth is that teenage boys have tended not to be readers, and they're getting worse. They go right from being a kid to video games, and they don't ever read, and so there's a reason there's no section in a bookstore, aimed specifically at teenage boys, because they're not big readers, and so the most growing quadrant of comics is definitely YA books. It is most definitely manga, and so that's the real mainstream. I mean, I'm with you guys. I grew up reading Marvel, DC, but a lot of indie books and stuff too. But but we're the outsiders, we're the weirdos, and so the fact that quadrant reads is why I say it's so hard to get teenage boys
Makes
to
sense.
read anything. I mean, it's it's almost impossible. And so you definitely you'll see like books like One Punch Man or One Piece will definitely connect with teenage boys, but it's just not even close to the bigger readership of the American teenage girl.
So, are you an anime person? Is there anime that you like?
Oh no. Sure, I liked Kira. When I saw Kira when I was a teenager, it blew my fucking mind. And yes, obviously there are things I like. The sort of current stuff, and especially the sort of culture around it, I don't care for at all. And I occasionally, mangas, comics. To me, I don't care. A Japanese comic is the same as a European comic, is the same as an American comic. To me, I don't give a shit. But so there's certainly manga I like, but I don't like the culture around that stuff either. A lot of it is weird, and I don't know. Somehow they like hate American comics, even though I mean, One Punch Man is basically an homage to '90s superheroes, and so I don't understand the hate, and it's very confusing to me. But but it turns me off of manga for sure. If the culture, to me, it's just comics. I don't care, but I'm not into anime, and occasionally something will fall in my lap, and I'll be like, oh, that's pretty cool, but generally, not really.
What was the last thing? What was the last thing that fell in your lap? You were like, oh, that is cool.
Akira.
I don't. Yeah, no, it was
Robotech.
Yeah, no, it was more recent. I caught a couple of recent sort of cyberpunk stuff I thought was pretty cool. The one that I think most that I was the biggest fan of was the Blood series. I thought those were pretty amazing. Blood the Last Vampire. I thought those were great. I picked those up whenever they do a reboot, and which is often. And then I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of the titles because I teach at a college, so the kids are always telling me anime that they're watching. But I tried to watch One Piece, and I was like, this is not for me. And I tried to watch. I like One Punch Man. One Punch Man is cool. I really like One Punch Man.
Sure.
I picked up the manga of that, and I thought it was pretty amazing. But One Piece, it's I don't get it. I don't need to get it. That's fine. But I mean, again, to me, it's weird that we call it something else. It's just Japanese comics. It's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't even mean anything other than Japanese comic. That's all it means. So it's weird
Sure.
to me.
Is that why you think we're seeing more of like manga style kind of drifting over into American comics, like Marvel with covers like the
Peach,
and
yeah.
you're starting to see a little bit more of it? Do you think it's they're trying to get that fan base over to comics, or
They've
is
done
it just because
they have done absolutely nothing to get those fans. They have done nothing. But the artists that are coming up are influenced. They did grow up on that stuff. And the crazy thing about Japanese comics is how pervasive that market and how every Italian artist, and there's a lot of Italian artists working in American comics, grew up on some American comics, lots of European comics, and mostly manga. Every Brazilian artist grew up on manga. Every French artist, every French artist grew up on manga. So manga is the Japanese stuff is very pervasive, and it has influenced generations. And that you're going to see that effect for the next 20 years.
you just think as the next generation of artists and stuff are coming in, you're seeing that influence more?
Absolutely. I mean, Peach Momoko is a great one. She's
Sometimes,
but she's influenced by that stuff, right? She comes from the world, and so her stuff hits, I think, with a certain kind of reader who is 19 to 28 or something, who grew up on manga and who's interested in Marvel stuff, but who has a background in some amount of manga, and when I was a kid, I bought Japanese comics all the time. They were around when I was a kid. Dark Horse was publishing stuff, some of the classic stuff. Lone Wolf and Cub was coming out when I was 10. So like they've been here for a long time, but the pervasiveness of them now is much more than American comics. It is easier to find a manga book in any American city than it is to find an American comic. That's a fact. So the effect is going to continue for 20 years, 30 years probably.
All right,
So I've got. Oh, go ahead, Sam.
I have a non-manga related question.
Sure.
You mentioned earlier that you mentioned earlier that Star Trek, you'd be more apt to write Star Trek than Star Wars. How disappointed are you that there is not a Darmok and Jalada Tanagra series?
I don't even know who that is.
And would you write it?
I don't know who it is. My Star Wars thing is the original series. Like I don't know. This is probably weird. I'm not like a huge current, like when I sit down at night after I've just spent the whole day writing superheroes and science fiction and fantasy, I tend to watch documentaries and crime stuff. I'll be honest. I do occasionally catch some stuff. I loved The Boys. I loved, there's absolutely stuff I catch. And I love horror movies. I watch horror movies all the time. I've never gotten sick of horror movies. But like, to me, the essence of Star Trek is the OG. The original series, I've watched it more than once. It is perfect. It's a cultural, iconic thing for multiple reasons. But I've never seen anything past Voyager, honestly. I'll catch episodes of shit and I'll be like, oh, that's cool. And I watch all the movies, because I'll sit through any movie. But do
you remember that episode of Next Generation? Did you watch Next Generation?
I saw it when it came out, and I've seen some of it since. Yeah.
Do you remember the one where Picard ends up on the planet with a guy who only talks in memes?
I've seen the reference since then. I can faintly remember it. Yeah, I faintly remember it.
Yeah, he keeps saying Darmok and Jalada Tanagra. It's just a meme. Like he's just talking in memes. And that's like, we need somebody to write that story, to talk about what happened there.
Star Trek is always ahead of its time, so that they predicted what 2023 would be like, where everybody just talks in memes. There you go. That's amazing.
So people are saying James Gunn is he's going to fix DC. Do you believe that James Gunn is going to be the savior of DC?
DC films? DC extended universe films?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Well, the whole thing is very confusing to me because I kind of know, I used to know James. He's a trauma guy. I was a trauma guy. And, I think he can do, or at least he can do what they probably need, which is find the weirdest stuff and make it mainstream, which is what he did at Marvel. Like Guardians of the Galaxy was not a top 10 series. He recognized Groot was not a popular character. Rocket Raccoon, when he debuted, the original series that Mike Mignola drew, was not a huge success. James is he's got this sense of this is a great idea. It may not be popular in the comics, but it'll be great. And I think the thing that DC has been beheld to for too long probably is like, these are our iconic lunchbox characters, but they may not be the easiest ones to make films out of. And so, I think James is your guy to go in and be like, here's your catalog. Creature Commandos will be a great fucking cartoon, and he'll do it. And that's what they've had trouble doing, I think. I still think there's a tendency to, I'll be honest, to go a little too adult with their stuff, because there's a cynicism, I think, that the Snyder stuff had, which was a mainstream. It killed it. The mainstream doesn't want to do that. And sure, the fans do, the hardcore fans, sure, and the edgelords, and okay, sure. But like, my mom will sit down for any Marvel movie, but when you give her like grim Superman, she's like, I'm fucking checking out. I'm gonna go eat some popcorn and watch Tombstone, or what is that show, Yellowstone, right? Yeah. So yeah, I always trusted James' vision. He's a cinema guy. He understands like what a movie needs to be, and he understands the audience. So I think they're in good shape. I'm really curious to see how they're going to do the Authority. I'm not sure how you do a team that makes fun of the JLA when you also own the JLA. That seems like a tough idea to me, but I trust that he can pull it off.
Kind of counterproductive.
Have you emailed him yet? And he says, I did this comic about Grayson being a secret spy. It might be a pretty good movie.
Well, I mean, my friend Tom, talks to him. Like, I used to talk to James. You know, I don't know. Comics is weird. It's weird. These are people we all know each other. That's the reality. When the Hackslash movie was going around, I suggested James Gunn as the screenwriter back when he did Slither, and as far I was like, here, this is the guy you got to hire, and they said, oh yeah, we like Slither. Didn't he do Scooby Doo? And I was like, yeah. Like, oh no dice. Like, so stupid, and obviously Hollywood can be so short-sighted, and I hope that executive is so embarrassed now that James is probably his fucking boss. But to me, like that's the the short-sightedness of this stuff, and people who can get things done. And I think James, his biggest skill is he can take shit, and the internet can be fucking mad, and they can say that we'll revolt and we will install Zack Snyder as king. He doesn't care. And that's a power. That's a superpower. That's going to be necessary because they changed course, and they changed course with some passionate fans. Not enough to keep anything alive. We know that because the Snyder version of the JLA was not a success. I think he's the guy. He's a smart guy. He's a funny guy. He loves comics. He has always loved comics. And he's not going to screw over the creators, which is awesome. So yeah, I'm super excited about it. I do have some questions, but that's okay because I'm not a movie executive.
Hey James, I got this new book called Local Man that might make a good movie.
Yeah. He knows where I stand. He knows I always liked his stuff. He knows I recommended him for jobs. But he works at Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers does Warner Brothers properties. They're not going to pick up stuff, So
he can do something on the side.
No, he can't. No,
I probably can't.
Not anymore.
Right.
Not anymore.
You're right. He probably can't.
Not with that contract, so I mean, Tom King all the time. He's working on. They're doing the Supergirl movie together. So
which I heard was a good read.
It's great. If you like stuff about sort of parental relationships, and it's a great story about fathers and daughters, and beautiful book. It's beautifully drawn. It's my favorite of Tom's books, and I don't say that easily. I really like.
I love the way he wrote Batman.
So did I until the wedding, and he dropped the. Well, who am I to judge him? He dropped the ball in the wedding. That's kind of where I fell off. But before that, it was really good.
But the thing of the wedding things is never going to be able. They're never going to marry them off for real life as a marketing decision. So it's like, it's a great story idea, but it's always going to get in the way that you're going to bump into the. That's the thing with superhero comics, especially. I mean, big two superhero comics is that they are constrained by the marketing. So like these are lunchboxes. They're lunchboxes. That's the reality. They are going to sell toys, and they're going to sell, sweaters, and they're going to sell all this shit before that. You can't ruin them with comics. So, I think, and I worked on the wedding stuff with Tom, and I think he did everything he could, and his job, I think, was to tell a personally affecting story, and that's what he's so good at. That's his superpower. It's like he can make you weep for fucking Booster Gold or Two-Face or whatever. He can just make you care, and that's his superpower.
Well, Tom King, is it Miracle Man?
Mr. Miracle. That's my favorite.
I've heard it's one of the phenomenal. Like Supergirl, I didn't read, but I listened to guys who explained it.
It's great.
Just the premise of it. I was telling Mr. Kyle that Supergirl goes off planet to a different sun to celebrate her birthday, to have some drinks.
She can get drunk, yeah.
To get drunk, and then madness ensues. But she's got PTSD from a planet being blown up, and she's having issues with Superman because it's her famous cousin.
Yeah,
I could see that working if it's done well on screen or in HBO Max.
James will do good. I mean, I'm sure Tom will work on the screenplay. It'll be good. If you haven't read that one, read that and Mr. Miracle. That's the two best Tom King books for sure. I mean, a lot of people like Adam Strange more. I like Mr. Miracle personally much more than Adam Strange. Those are the two greatest Tom things, I think, for sure.
So there's a lot of variants coming out for Local Man #1. Did you get to approve them all? Did you get to look at them first? Because there's a lot of,
I drew most of them, and I drew them on because they were set. The timeline for these was so crazy. On Christmas Day, I drew 2 covers, and on Thanksgiving, I drew the other one. So, they were. Not only did I approve them, I drew the bastards. Drew 3 or 4 of them. So yeah,
So
and
like,
store variants. So they're like, the store orders their own batch, and if they do a sort of minimum order of like 500 or something, they can have their own cover. So a lot of times they'll have a local artist do it, so that artist can come in and do a signing, or they'll have us
Right.
do it. So we, for fun, we did sort of homages to some of our favorite Image comics. So we did one of Darker Image, which was that sort of anthology series. We did a cover of that. We did one of Spawn 9, which was the debut of Angela. And we also did one of Gen 13 Wizard cover.
The wizard
Yeah.
cover. That's a great one.
Yeah.
But we also, all of those were for our own fun. They were also books that were, because Logan Man is about controversy, all those books were controversial in some way. Obviously Spawn, the debut of Angela, Neil Gaiman, eventually wanting ownership. So that's why we did that one. And then Darker Image at the time was supposed to be an anthology. One issue came out, and that was a
Right.
big thing. And then just the sort of wizardification of the 90s of, sort of turning everything into an investment. That was a big part of our approach. So we did those things that we liked, but it was also like part of our thinking on this. And the reason Local Man or Trossjack has a shield is a sort of homage to when Rob Liefeld did Fighting American. He had Fighting American have a shield, and he got in trouble with Marvel. So all those things are sort of us having a good time with, with ideas and things from the 90s that we thought were interesting.
yeah, like I'm looking at some of the other covers from the next few issues.
Yeah.
Like I was just looking at this one.
So we want to do a big fist cover, so we got a big fist cover.
Almost reminds me of the Pantera cover.
Pantera, there you go.
Yeah. Fucking hostile. Yeah. It's a little,
Yeah.
little
Cemetery
bit of that.
Gate.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna ask Tim. Any I can't ask for a spoiler for. I want to ask for a spoiler for West of Sundown, but how long is that book gonna go?
As long as you'll buy it.
I'm buying it. Yeah, I'm buying it because I think it's fucking good.
Broken up into, so the way that we've done things, I learned my lesson, is to do things in sort of, story arcs, because
Yes.
readers, they look for ways to jump off otherwise, and so you just kind of give them a way to be like, here is a story, you can read this, it'll be collected. So this particular arc wraps at issue 10, and then we set this up for that. We can sort of step back, hey, how's this doing in the book market, which is our major, that's where we sell most of our books, is in the book market, not in comic shop. So the way Aaron and I planned this book was very specific. The first arc we knew was going to be sort of get the band together, and it was going to be very much based around Southwestern myths, but having these characters get together. So Frankenstein's monster, Invisible Man, our vampire character, our human guy Dooley, and then the characters from the West. And then the second arc we knew was going to be Dr. Moreau, and we definitely know who is in the third arc because they show up at the end of issue 10.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
We haven't seen 10 yet. It hasn't come out. But
no, not 10. I'm not 9. I'm waiting on to come, but I've read up to 8.
Okay.
And 9, yeah, it's picking. Yeah, it catches good steam. It's good.
And
like
10 is where you find out who the next arc is about, because it'll be quite obvious. So we looked at it sort of like, and I hate that this is where we've come with comics, but kind of like seasons. Like it's very much around building the characters up. Hellboy does a similar thing where we get contained stories. So this arc will have an ending, but it sets up the next one. It's just a good way to do indie comics because so much of our business is outside of comics.
Do you feel you kind of write to TV or movie now, where you have to do arcs and like compressed series?
No, I don't. Not to TVs or movies, but I definitely. I definitely
Well,
write.
I mean the story, like if you keep it self-contained, because a lot of these comics are getting optioned now and things like that.
Yeah, I never write to that because I know that's a losing battle. Like I need to sell comics. If I get a check, great, but I need to sell comics. That's my job, and I can't survive on option money because it's shit. Like if I get option money for something, I mean, if I'm lucky, it's like $10,000, and then I got
It's kind of like a placeholder.
Yeah,
Is it a
yeah, it's not good. It's not good enough to chase it. So I need to make comics that sell. That's my job. Having something option helps sell the comic, which again, I don't love that, but that's where we are. So
Right.
I'll happily take that. I'll do the deals. I'll play the game. But my job is making comics that sell, and even more than that, my job is making trade paperbacks that sell. And so that is the way that I approach, as from a business standpoint,
Okay.
that's the job, right? So,
Okay.
I
That's
think the
fair.
world has become oriented around the idea of seasons, and that's fairly recent. That's only the last 10 years. This idea that TV shows have these sort of character arcs. You can watch shows that started 10 years ago, like Justified. It didn't start out with season-long arcs. It had Raylan would chase some bad guy. Raylan chases some bad guy. It was every episode was, but then Breaking Bad did the season arcs, and so we've all been sort of oriented towards that, I think, and it helps,
Right?
Because you can collect those as trades, and that's really where I sell comics. I mean, Hackslash as a monthly sells like tops 12,000 copies, let's say, but as a trade is sold like 65,000, 75,000 copies. So,
Wow.
that's my business, right?
Well, Tim, we'll let's do this. Let me share this one more time. We've taken up an hour of your Saturday night. I know you got a family. You're more than welcome to stay, but everybody go get Local Man when it comes out. I hope everybody already got it on their FOC, but it comes out February 22nd.
Yep.
So, but thanks for coming and hanging out. You're more than welcome to hang out, and we're going to do the worst and best covers of the week next.
All right.
But we understand you got a family, but you're more than welcome to hang out.
Yep. 8:00 is my daughter's bedtime, so I'm going to finish the beer and
Perfect timing.
But I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much for talking to me.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah. Have a good night.
You too, Tim. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Awesome. Good
That
job,
was a lot
guys.
of fun.
I really wanted to know what his favorite crime documentary is right now and why it would be tied to
I wanted to
hatchet-wielding hitchhiker.
I wanted to ask him too. But I didn't want to. I had already cut him off twice, and I didn't want to do it 3 times.
Man, we can't geek out and be nerds. Well, I'm not a
But
nerd,
I totally wanted to
obviously.
grow him. What are you watching? What are you watching? Because that's all I watch at night too. Is that's the only thing I really watch now too, is crime documentaries and stuff like that. So
That's it.
Have you ever called a McDonald's and told the manager that you were a police officer?
So you could get a free Big Mac?
dude, that was so crazy that
That's such a weird one.
happened. You didn't watch that one, Lopez?
No, I did. I also remember when it happened.
Yeah.
What are you guys talking about?
There was a dude that was in Florida, and he was calling
Florida man.
different McDonald's and different different restaurants in little cities, and he was somehow convincing the managers to get
to strip
employees
search,
to
strip
strip search employees.
And then perform sexual acts on them.
Yeah.
While he listened on the phone.
What the fuck?
And he did it for years, and they found out who he was. They caught him, and they couldn't do anything because they couldn't really prove that he was actually the guy on the phone.
And he turned out he was a cop or a corrections officer.
He was a corrections officer.
Yeah.
I could
That's
eat
crazy.
2 Big Macs right now.
Dude, it's crazy.
Special
Thank you.
sauce.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun talk. It's it's easy talking to someone like Tim because we all know his work. Like when I said that
Can't mistake him for a gimp.
No, Matt was there when I was grilling Tim about Nightwing. I was grilling him to the point where I actually was feeling bad because I was like, this is what you need to do with him. Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? Why is it like this? This is, and I was like,
was he slowly reaching for his phone to call security?
No, I was over interviewing Scott Snyder, and I just look over, and Kyle's got a lot of hand flailing going on, and a lot of hard pointing, and
I was
holding up issues, and pointing to it, and it was just very.
So
out of
for
control.
Absolute Geek, we got to go to WonderCon and cover the Rebirth thing. So then we got to go in, and we got to sit there and interview whoever we wanted. So Matt went to Scott Snyder, and I was like, dude, Tim Seeley, I want Tim Seeley. That's my dude. And I just and I was just like,
You're
what
So
about this?
he wrote Rebirth, Nightwing, huh?
Yeah.
Man, I controversial right here. When I read Rebirth, that's the only DC era that I've read. And if I had to compare it to what I was reading at Marvel and whatever
Thank you,
other
Tyson.
books I was reading, Rebirth was better than what I was reading at Marvel, except Captain Marvel and Daredevil. But Rebirth, Suicide Squad, Titans, Young Justice,
Like
all that was great.
if we ever got Joshua Williamson on the show, I would do the same thing. Like I
Oh
would
my
just
God.
geek out because
Detective Comics, right?
no, he did Flash. He ended up but when he did Flash Rebirth, and like
I didn't read that one.
he turned me into like the hugest Flash fan. Like I was like talking to him would have put me like weak at the knees. You know what I mean? Like so. But like, yeah, like I almost felt bad because I was just so excited to be able to talk to Tim. And then he came for a con here and I fucking did it again. And then I made him draw it. I didn't make him, I paid him. Like, and he drew me a really cool Nightwing sketch and like
no, not like that, like this. No,
Yeah.
not like that, like this.
and like, and then like, Brian
The
grills
foot's
him
too
about
big.
G.I. Joe because he's a huge G.I. Joe guy.
Love G.I. Joe, man.
Yeah.
Like
I was
you could
hoping-
go and find his art, man. Like I know some of it, but he does this.
I was looking on that page. It's got
Yeah, I'm
some
gonna
great.
look it up. See if he
And
can
you
draw
can
me
see other
Captain
stuff
Marvel.
he's drawn. He's drawn awesome Transformers. He's drawn awesome fucking He-Man shit. And he's a great artist and and it's funny too, because you can see how a simple person I am. Like the roadie, yeah, it's about rock and roll and possession. And it's like he's
Right.
got this deep fucking like rooted thing that
And
I look at it as
broke
fucking
it down,
rock and
yeah.
roll and possession. You know what I mean? You can tell
Father and daughter. Yeah. See how
you
he
can
broke
tell
that
how
down?
simple of a person that I am. You know what I mean? Like I don't look into things like. Trust me, I could have read that thing could have been 100 issues, and I never would have got that deep level out of it that he actually put into it.
I mean, that goes to show to his creativity too, because he's sitting here talking when I asked him about Spider-Gwen, and he's like, "Oh, well, Peach Momoko just sent me a couple designs of her characters, and I just made it work. I just do what I needed to do." Like, it's like, damn, dude. Like, I wish I could just think of something like that. You look at something, and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna write this, and this is gonna happen, and then this is this." It's like,
you probably do it all. We probably all do it every day at home in our
Oh
heads.
no.
You know
I
what
mean, I've got stacks of Darth Lopez fan fiction over here. Like,
Yeah,
I can truly
the,
tell you
the
that no, but I
bromance
don't.
between you and Marco. That's like the number one. I can't wait to publish that.
That's my guy.
You should see the sketch he has. He's got Darth. Look at this. Matt sent me the sketch. It's you're standing like sideways like this, and since Marco's about to right here on you, and his shirt's off, and you're like your arms are around him, and Marco has these. And Marco has these abs, and like it's and Marco's got this long hair that's like blowing in the wind. Oh, dude, it's
Mr. Kyle. That might be a
crazy.
write-up. That might be a
write-up.
write-up.
Dude, it's real though. You can't
You can only write it up.
Matt
You
actually
can only
did.
write it up. Real
He
quick,
might
hold
have
on,
to
hold
go
on.
for sensitivity training.
Real quick, just think about it. He's at home with his daughter. Like I had kids after 42. Me and the dude is the same age. My first son was born the year April before the pandemic, right? So just think about it. He's at home. He's an artist. He's a drawer. He's just thinking, "Oh, I have a daughter now."
That's
like,
the title of the
goes off
book.
the comic book world. Easy formula, and he just wrote something down, and you get Rhodey.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, the
The-
issue
the
I'm working
love
on
of
right
Marco
now,
and Lopez.
Lopez and Marco Go to Galaxy's Edge, is a banger. And the cover is you standing there with Marco on your shoulders, full size Marco on your shoulders with little Mickey Mouse ears and a Disney balloon. Like he's super excited.
Here's what I want. I want the first annual Renovision, Renomania. And I want Marco in the center of a ring, no DQ, pinfalls count anywhere. That's what I want.
You got to get
That's
past
what I
me in Tetris first, buddy.
Oh, no problem. All day. And hey, checkers. Spades.
Checkers.
Pinochle. Monopoly,
Dude, it was
Risk,
just so funny to see the
and
Magic
Scrabble.
Kingdom Lopez with Marco on his shoulders with Disney ears and a Mickey Mouse.
I don't think he
balloon.
can do it.
I would,
Dude, it'd be
bro.
so
I want
funny.
to shit and throw his clone. With, no, see,
Marco's
that's
like,
not-
oh,
no, I gotta write myself up because I was gonna bring up his clone Wayseeker, and I'll have a handicap match for both of them.
Ring the bell.
Ding ding.
No, see now we're gonna get banned. We're gonna get the red flag by corporate.
Lopez and Marco on a romantic. Yep.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
Like one of those Harlequin novels.
Marco would eat Lopez's lunch all day.
Yeah,
It's awesome. I do it. I
That's
can't.
horrible.
Please
Well,
send
I
me
don't know.
somebody
Hey.
out there. Please send me some rough sketches.
yeah, no. Well, I mean, we got a
What do you need
lawyer on
of
staff.
sketches of?
Let's draw it up. We get the contract. This squad right here versus the tax show and dodgeball all day, every day.
We've got Sam. It's a dead
Exactly.
given.
We got a
What is it
ringer.
gonna do?
It's a runaway. If you guys really do want some stories, I have written some crazy stories,
Bring it.
and you know I would love for them to be made into comic books for sure.
Mm.
I'm too simple-minded to make stuff like that.
I had this one where my brother had asked me to make a story about a mannequin, and so it was like this girl goes to the mall, and it's cool. There's mannequins. It's fun.
They come to life.
I've got a story.
I've heard you. You've told me that, Pitch.
Yeah.
I've got a pretty good story.
It's about the first STD of the virtual world, and it's when you get online and then your friend goes and bangs some
Yes.
virtual girl, and then all of a sudden his avatar starts to grow these warts and shit all over, but he can't see it, but everybody else sees it. And the story is just this guy gets worse and worse, like Akira, and he just like gets huge and nasty, but this dude's like, oh,
Erroneous on both counts. Erroneous.
you got
Speaking of
something thrown on
Akira,
your forehead.
speaking of Akira, that's part of my my big news today.
It will happen.
All right, let's go to the.
Can you say that like Optimus Prime? Because that does sound like Optimus Prime.
All
We're
right,
doing best and worst
I'm
covers.
not your monkey.
Hey, Hartman's back.
let's do best and worst covers.
All I gotta say, real quick, Lopez, is when you and Marco wrestle, just be careful. Remember, he's greasy. That's what he said. He even said it himself. He's like, "I'm greasy." So,
Yeah, I caught that.
It's the other way around. Yeah. Marco's the wife. Lopez is the man.
Oh, guys, don't think he's not watching.
Lopez is the man.
dude, we need that as a permanent soundbite. Every time Lopez gives up, good. Lopez is the man.
Marco would be all in on a Lopez salad buffet.
Who's that handsome man?
Make sure that salad gets
George.
That was awesome. Hartman.
I'm handsome. I'm ruggedly handsome. That is true.
Ruggedly handsome.
All right. First bad cover of the week. Her name has been mentioned quite a bit tonight. Dark Web Final #1, Peach Momoko, Ben Riley cover.
The one thing that I really get is, looks like he's wearing a high heel right here.
It does.
Almost
Okay,
like a
but
bad
whose feet?
date.
Whose feet would you rather
Inspiring
have?
defending
Peach
her.
Momoko or Rob Liefeld?
Peach, because I think if it really came down to it, she could actually draw a decent foot.
Yeah.
Oops.
I think this one's better than the last one she did for Dark Web. Dude, she did a shitload of covers this week.
Dude, she did a shitload of covers this week. Dude, she did a shitload of covers this week. Dude, she did a shitload of covers this week. Dude, she did a shitload of covers this week. Dude, she did a shitload of covers this week. Dude, she did a shitload of covers this week. Dude, she did a shitload of covers this week. Dude, she did a shitload of covers this week. Dude, she did a shitload of covers this week. Dude, she did a shitload of covers this week. Dude, she did a shitload of covers this week. Dude, she did a shitload of covers this week. Dude, she did a shitload of covers this week. Dude, she did a shitload of covers this week. Dude, she did a shitload of covers this week. Dude, she did a shitload of covers this week. Dude, she did a shitload of covers this week. Dude, she did a shitload and they were
That's
all
right.
equally bad.
That's a weird W too. There's a lot of W going on there.
Just the heel, the him wearing a high heel, just like
Yeah, you can't unsee that, can you?
no.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the 1 in 100 Maria Wolf variant for
Blade.
what the hell's the name of the book? Bloodline, Daughter of Blade.
Bloodline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's like
I don't
look
like
at
it.
the look at this funky bat up here in the top left. Like they're even funky looking bats.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think that they are Brucifer.
And that's a 1 in 100, which will probably be like a $25 book.
I imagine you could probably see like help or something written out in her drawings.
Save
Like
me.
the legs are like help me.
Actually, I kind of see it in the bats.
It's like if you look
When
at those
you're-
legs, they spell something.
Yeah, it's like Aladdin, right?
Yeah, like Feige
When
days.
is the
F word in
Aladdin.
You use the black light. You can see it in the black
Yeah,
light.
there's gonna be like black light codes and shit. Like
Put a black light over it.
those
Save
things
me
are
from
spelled.
Marvel.
Look at that in a mirror, and it probably spells something.
It reminds me of go back. It reminds me of like the Gremlins poster from the 80s, right?
If you're ever in a kidnap situation, don't make your secret messages so difficult.
It's like an 80s movie poster.
Look at his face. Look at the smile.
he looks like he's doing something today.
Yeah, I don't know what he looks like. It's bad.
Eddie Murphy.
You see my white van?
Boy, I tell you what, boy, we're gonna kill some vampire.
Next, we got the Runa Miles Morales. I believe this is the A cover. Spider-Man.
Yeah, it is. It's the Dyke ruin this cover. The reason I picked this one, first off, is the fuck is wrong with his head?
Yeah,
He's got an alien head.
the
What the fuck
cyborg.
is up with that?
I don't like the font. Really, do not like the font.
Yeah, it's got that crystal skull.
Yeah,
It's got that
Stay.
Elongated
cartoon
Homo
feel.
erectus head.
So that's. Oh look. So
It's for $25.
Next up, we have Vampirella Year 1.
eek.
Some Pano
She
cover.
has an overbite.
It looks like a meth head. That's hungry.
It does look like a mess. It looks like. I mean, I'm assuming she's supposed to be pregnant. That's why she's got the pickles and ice cream and the big belly. But just the face is like, yeah, she looks like she got like a surprise
pretty
pegging
face.
while she was opening the fridge. or
Oh
something.
yeah.
She looks like Sarah Silverman.
It looks like she was going in for a little bit
No.
something extra, and the Taco Bell just hit. And she's like,
Oh,
She looks
shit.
like Courtney Cox after her plastic surgery.
does look like Courtney Cox.
I was thinking the same thing, Astro. Yeah, we're like it looks like 90s Courtney Cox.
Yeah,
But moving on to our best coverage of the week, we have another Miles Morales Spider-Man number 3.
ow, my back.
Lashley
My back.
cover, copy Lashley cover.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Good one.
Copy Lashley.
A lot better than the fucking alien head one.
Yeah.
25 copies.
Is that a real name?
I mean,
Is it Ken, isn't it?
he
Ken
didn't
Lashley?
miss White Leg Day. I'll tell you that.
I
He's pretty ripped on that right leg over there. So
don't like that name.
That's not his name. It's
I was gonna say, whose
Ken-
name's
Ken
Floppy
Lashley,
Ashley?
isn't it? Ken Lashley? Or Keith?
Oh, it's the 25 copy Lashley cover.
yeah,
Yeah.
Who's copy Ashley?
Lashley. Anyways, Batman Legends of Gotham number 1. Nathan, I'm not even gonna pronounce that last name. Cedre's cardstock cover.
Zerdy.
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 Nathan Zerdy.
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 Bobby Lashley has drawn comics. Yes. Anyway.
Bobby Lashley.
It's a good cover. Except her waist is a little long.
And her
No, that's called her
chest
back.
looks like a big circle,
Back waist, buttocks.
Booty.
like a blowfish.
Booty. I like
Is
it. I
that
think it's
Katana? Was that Katana?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that who that's supposed to be? I suggest not getting killed by her because her sword will trap your soul.
saying.
Yes.
I
The
like this one.
Firstborn's
I like
number
this
2
one.
Pantera homage
Yep.
cover.
It's a vulgar display of power, and that's what
My
I was getting at to
favorite
Tim
Pantera
Seeley
album.
with the cover 2 of Local Man. I was wondering if that's where they were going with as well, was the vulgar display of power homage. But this is actually a
Yeah.
vulgar display of power homage. So.
Next up, we have a Bone Chick.
It's pretty cool.
I don't know
I'm
Yeah,
not
we're
who
reading
this is,
good.
it,
Kyle.
but look at it. It's nice.
It is a nice cover.
Yeah.
And now we got time for big news in anime with Mr. Sam.
What up? Call the cops. They're here. Don't say nothing. Don't talk to cops.
Shh. I'm not
What
here.
All right,
is
Jordan Peele recently did a podcast where he discussed the Akira movie, live action movie project that he was attached to for a short time. He explained to the podcast, I mean, we've mentioned Akira a couple times tonight, explained why he ended up not doing it. He said, "It's a project I'm so passionate about. I'm glad I didn't do it
Because he would have fucking ruined it.
because I feel like staying away from trying to interpret that IP set me on the path of creating something new. But I want to see Neo Tokyo. I want to see an all Japanese cast, and I want to feel immersed in the world the way of the films and the manga." What do you guys think? You bummed that Jordan Peele dropped the Akira movie, or
No,
or,
that dude makes garbage movies.
you know, like
Do you want to see an Akira movie, Sam?
you know, I don't feel like a lot of anime properties get very well adapted, and I feel like Akira is pretty far out there with a lot of the stuff in the final act.
Just don't do it.
So it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough.
Yeah, because how well is the rape scene in the first 10 minutes of the movie? The actual movie going to go over.
But would they do the Akira movie, or would they do it based on the books, or would they do it more from the original movie?
So for anybody who's a fan of the animation, but didn't read the manga, there's still like a whole nother volume after the end of the movie worth of content that is done in the manga. So there's lots of ways you could adapt it. I mean, I could see it being like a 3 or 4 film series, honestly.
Would you start from the beginning, or would you go where they left off in the movie?
I'll start at the beginning. Yeah.
Start at the
What
beginning.
about, who did Alita, the Battle Angel? Is that Spielberg, or who did that? Cameron?
James Cameron.
Robert Rodriguez. Produced by James Cameron.
Yeah. That's right. Produced by James Cameron, directed by Robert Rodriguez.
Do you think if somebody
His name's in there,
somebody
no
like that were to get involved with it, that it would have potential? Well, I mean, it has potential either way, but
And they all have potential. That's why they're being adapted at all. But
You're being adapted.
it all comes down to understanding the subtext, and that's really the part where everybody kind of fails.
Someone say AI adapted.
You rearrange the letters in subtext, and it spells butt sex. So just keep that in mind.
Nice.
Wow.
Six.
There's this hip hop guy I used to like. His name was Smoothie, and he did a song called "Butt Sex."
Yeah, it's just dyslexic.
Was it messy?
There you go. All right, let's hit that next slide. Chainsaw Man Blu-rays are underperforming. If you look at the sales figures for the Blu-rays, they came in
Fuck
well
my
under.
Blu-rays still.
Yeah, who's really buying Blu-rays, right? But that's
Blu-rays
how
are the 8-track of DVDs.
Yeah, that's what they're
No.
doing to kind of track the sales, and there's a concern that if the sales figures aren't there, Chainsaw Man may not be produced by an expensive studio like Studio Mappa, who produced the first season. And
How
it
much are
might
they?
it might
How much
go
are they
the
charging?
way that One Punch Man did after its first season, where they went to a cheaper studio that really did a poor job or a poorer job of the animation than the first season.
What's the
What were you gonna
MSRP on their DVDs or Blu-rays?
64.22.
You know?
I think it's $25.
That's not too bad.
Fuck buys
But
Blu-rays
it
still.
is hard to sell something that you can find on streaming, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
something that you already just watched on Hulu or whatever.
Because I hate to say it, the people who are buying Blu-rays are guys like me who are stuck with physical media in their head.
And Smurfs. They love
And Smurfs, absolutely. Smurfette,
Blu-ray, and they support their.
hot. Yeah. I mean,
I
right? I
have
mean,
DVD.
the kids that are the
And
kids
Ray,
today
and
that
guys
are
named
watching,
Ray. They spy too.
the kids today that are watching this aren't going out and buying Blu-rays. They're downloading it or they're just watching it on Crunchyroll and Hulu.
Yeah.
And,
That's where I watch it.
so
Yeah.
why would they buy the Blu-ray?
Yeah, because you're paying, and I can see a lot of it too. Is you're paying for your Crunchyroll membership already.
Right. Unless you're adding stuff onto the Blu-ray, like director's commentary and even kids don't even care about that shit. But I mean, at least have something extra on there to make it worthwhile to buy the Blu-ray.
Yeah, I think the number one on this list
Fatality.
they didn't sell more than 10,000 Blu-rays.
Yeah, and they probably
these are Japanese figures.
right. I think they dipped their toe in something that they shouldn't have been putting it into Blu-ray because they're making money on the streaming. I guess they make money on the streaming.
Yeah, you would think so, because they do license that to Crunchyroll or to the other services around the world.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, something interesting people are kind of worried about, but they
What they
want to
should
make
do is
sure
they should
that
go off of clicks on Crunchyroll, and they should go off of
they should go off of like actual ratings of people watching it. But their concern is that if it doesn't make enough money or it underperforms in sales, then they'll have to find a cheaper studio, which would be a real disappointment.
Sounds stupid to me.
Finally, for big news, we've got the WTF manga of the week, which is Oritama, or as the English call it, My Balls.
Oh yeah.
In this story, we have Kota is the main character. Kota has a female demon queen trapped in his balls. If he climaxes, he will unleash the apocalypse.
Well, she's coming out.
So it's Kegels or we're all doomed.
Why aren't these anime?
That's a great question. Maybe you could get AI to animate this particular story.
Yes, you could.
Yes, an anime about a kid who can't nut. That's a seller right there.
Dude, I believe that I mean, you never know. You never know.
You never know. All right.
We got our first appearances of the week this week. We got a short list. Silver Surfer Ghost Light #1. You get the first appearance of Ghost Light, formerly Al Harper, who was introduced and died in Silver Surfer #5. Spec on that one. Heavy.
Yeah, boys.
Heavy.
You filthy animal.
So is that Silver Surfer #5, the Silver Age 5?
Yes, 1969.
Okay.
Then we got Archie Valentine's Day Special, the first appearance of Cassie Cloud, a pretty girl with an interest in hanging out with the nerdy crowd. A girl that I think we could all get
no
behind.
Archie drama on this show.
That's right.
Shit about those Pez today.
Did you watch that documentary about the Pez guy on Netflix?
No, I was just thinking Pez when I saw the cover of that Archie. There's some Pez at Goodwill.
He was flying over to Europe to get all the European Pez's, and he was bringing them back and selling them. And American Pez was all pissed off because he was flooding the Pez community with these different European Pez dispensers.
Well, this was a president for Pez dispensers, so it was a president Pez dispenser. I put it
And then
back.
We have DC Lazarus Planet Lazarus Planet Legends Reborn. First appearance of Origin of Trilogy, the brother of Raven.
Oh snap!
And that's it for all your first appearances this week. It's time for Movie Wars.
Fucking Movie Wars.
Movie Wars.
So the last Movie
Hold on, Kyle.
Wars.
There's a bumper.
I know, right? I always forget there's a bumper for this. So last week it was Ace Ventura: Pet Detective versus Wayne's World, and you guys voted, and Ace Ventura won.
That's close.
Ace Ventura wins.
Finish him.
And so this week, I'm doing Ace Ventura versus the 40-year-old virgin.
Oh my god.
40-year-old version.
Oh,
Yeah, the 40-year-old virgin.
Yeah, the
That's-
4-year-old virgin.
Kelly Clarkson.
It's a funny fucking movie.
You know how I
That
know
chick
you're
throws
gay?
it, like, makes him
You
blow
eat
in the breath.
Spanish dip out of a bread bowl. You framed an Asia poster.
I don't know.
I actually mentioned this movie last night on my show, the speed dating episode.
Oh, we
What's up,
better
I'm
we better
Gina.
kick it off then.
Yeah. The chick that's
Yeah,
she wants
the
to
chick that
drive
just,
in
that was a
again.
lesbian who's just trying to get back into riding pole again. What's up,
movie, the fucking
Gina?
classic, man. The next terrible movie, dude.
So,
Seth Rogen's character. You know what I was feeling in that? Gina.
the movie's great.
But yes, head on over to the Renovision channel, click on that community tab, and and vote for Movie Wars between Ace Ventura: Pet Detective and the 40-year-old virgin.
What up, Pep Price?
Tyson says 40-year-old virgin, TK, Ace Ventura, 40-year-old virgin all day.
Yeah, I just showed those.
I know.
Alrighty then.
Reiterate.
Here, look. We'll do this.
There you go. Good job.
Hey,
Really
look.
digging this out.
AOA, 40-year-old all day. TK, Ace Ventura. Tyson E, 40-year-old Vag. Half price. Yo. All right.
Anyways, Cartoon Wars. Last week we had Space Ghost Coast to Coast versus The Critic. Personally, I think The Critic was robbed in this one, but you voted 64%
Space
to
Ghost
36% in favor of Space Ghost. So this week we're doing Space Ghost Coast to Coast versus Duckman.
No.
Man.
Duckman!
I want to recount with the critic.
I think Duckman's going to take it this week.
That raunchy Beavis and Butthead as Ren and Stimpy style cartoon.
I used to know a girl who looks like her, a duck man.
Is that part of the reason why you have to lay still?
No, she was a little tiny girl.
AOA says Space Ghost.
I say Duckman.
Space Ghost DC comic.
Space
You can
Ghost
bring-
Hanna-Barbera, I believe.
Hanna-Barbera.
I'm
But yeah,
look
they're owned by-
up some Space Ghost.
I think they're owned by WB now, but
TK says Duckman. All right, but again,
Duckman!
head on over to the community tab on the Renovision channel and vote in this week's Movie Wars and Cartoon Wars.
Hopefully I'll remember to get it to Pete before Thursday. I was really busy
Duckman
this
already
week.
going. Tyson says Duckman. Duckman. The duck.
Duck.
the duck.
Duck, duck.
Dr. Duck.
Yeah, sweet.
No. All right. So
And now we got our hot chick of the week.
this week we've got
Bam.
Annette Garcia.
You know she has an OnlyFans now.
She does have an OnlyFans now. Super hot, aesthetic weather girl with an OnlyFans. Oh man, she's on my Doppler radar. I'll tell you that. Look at that though. Hell
damn.
yeah.
She's been a bad, bad girl.
Oh,
Oh, jeez. Take it easy, Harmon.
but
Had something in my throat.
Hartman's
She's
about
a
to release a
nice
demon.
lady.
there was so many good pictures of her. It was very
Okay,
hard.
but hang on. I do have to say that she's a 10 butt. You've seen those memes, right? She's a 10 butt. But she got dumped by a gamer because she was interfering with his gaming tournaments.
I tell you right now, I would pick up my PlayStation 5 and fucking throw it in the garbage if she was like paying attention to me. I don't know about you guys.
She got dumped by a freaking video gamer, dude. A freaking
that's because he's a
esports
moron.
kid.
He's a moron.
You're cramping my
It's
style, man.
over. We're done. I love video games.
It's all about the dollars, yo. So, you know, he probably makes way more money playing video games than she does being a weather girl. So,
Yeah, which is why she's
Don't-
now on OnlyFans. She
Don't
got
hate the
tired of-
player.
now,
hate the
now that she's got
games.
an OnlyFans, she's probably gonna
Now
use-
she's got simps for miles,
Yeah,
simps for
exactly.
days.
Dude, I'm just saying.
Strictly boudoir.
Here.
Yeah.
Everyone is tired of
Tired
fucking
of fucking
someone.
someone.
Sweet ass.
God.
Sweet ass.
Sweet ass.
Mm.
God. God.
Just to get that,
Oi,
that
puppy.
double post.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so my what the fuck story of the week, it sucks because I thought my son was gonna be home. I didn't know he was gonna just leave and go spend the weekend at his girlfriend's house. But this here is an Idaho man has set a new world record for fist bumps. Frequent Guinness World Record breaker David Rush proved the Guinness World Record for do the most alternating fist bumps in 30 seconds. It says Rush shared a video Sunday of himself taking on the feet with his neighbor's son Joey. The pair managed 273 alternating fist bumps in 30 seconds, nearly 100 more than Nafisis Isisa Tafiku Anutu and Aribiku Romahan Sabika's previous record of 174. So what I wanted to do was I was going to get my son and sit him down, and we were going to try it because I don't think it's very fucking hard to do it that many times. But if you pull up the video,
You gotta have someone do it with you because doing this, it looks just a little weird.
Yeah.
You might as well you gotta practice with the shake weight, you know?
What state was it again?
Idaho.
Proving Idaho is the most boring and lame state ever.
Let me
So
see.
you were trying.
Dude,
you
I
should've-
love their game faces too. Look at their game faces. They're both like biting
You want to go
lips.
outside? No, let's fist bump. Let's beat a
broke a
record.
world
Let's
record right here
fist.
live on SNS.
But here, I'll
Let's
share my screen.
fist into the Guinness Book of World Records.
I don't think we're gonna get a strike for sharing this. Do you think? Are we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
I would probably do
Right,
it
for
if I was
sure and
them.
Let me share my screen real quick.
Oh my god.
Why
So-
risk the fist bump that goes in Guinness?
Let's see. Let's get past all this dumb shit.
Of course, those guys did it.
Here we go. Watch this shit.
Keep it on mute.
The backpack kid grew up.
Go.
This is the backpack kid, isn't
Look
it?
at a grown man and a teenager. What's going on here?
Dude, he did it again.
Dude, no!
His new dance. What do they talk like this when they're doing it?
POV.
we almost there?
The
Are we
dude in the
close?
white isn't even
Right
fist
over.
bumping back. He's just taking it.
He looks like Daniel Cross.
Guys, like, yes, we fucking gonna get so laid tonight.
Say some pussy for the rest of us, gentlemen.
How often did
You
you
know
guys
the fist bumping
Dude,
thing.
you scared
That's
Darth
me.
Lopez, man. Lopez,
I know.
he's out.
Yep, I'm that guy.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
These fists are famous.
All right, is it time for the sports report?
It's time for
It
the
is.
sports report.
beep 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 beep.
All right, I'm adding another sport to the list here. Let's click that first link.
Oh, you want
Uh-oh.
the first one?
Sam is branching out.
The Twitter link on the slideshow.
Yeah, I got it. Hold on, I got to just share my screen because Kyle's doing it.
All right, check this out,
Nice
yo
win.
man. Let's make this big. Let's go big.
Go big or go home. What the fuck are we watching? You playing golf on the Wii? Hole in one!
Boom!
What is
Sports
this
golf.
we're watching?
This is me doing Switch Sports Golf. You guys remember Wii Golf,
Oh, hey,
right?
Sam.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
they revamped it and then put it on the Switch, and I probably spend
Let me get in on this.
12 hours a week on this game.
We get to play games and show them.
Look at this! Look at this! Look at this!
Throw my Street Fighter clip up in there.
Boom, boom, boom! Hole in one.
Fatality.
Pretty good job you did there. Fatality.
You got some nice form there, Sam.
What
Yeah.
par? What is that? A par? What?
It's par three.
Par
so,
three. All right.
So I had to club down, and you got to drop down a club. They give you a 5-iron,
Doing a cheat
which is
code?
way too much club for this hole. So you got to club down.
AABB up.
I
right,
put a
right,
little
down, down.
backspin on it. You can see the
Select
backspin when it starts to roll.
Yeah.
That kind of white effect there. That's a backspin.
Well, there was a game like this on Xbox or Xbox 360. for
We
free.
should all live stream. Get some Call of Duty going.
Dude, this is a really fun. Anybody who liked golf on Wii, this is a
You're
really
gonna love
fun revisit of that same kind of gameplay.
I miss golf on the NES with the Mario guy.
Yeah,
Mario
they have
Golf.
Mario Golf now on Switch too, so
Yeah.
lots of fun. And then the other one, back to dodgeball, baby. This one, we want to get some volume on this one.
Is there any
It's right in
songs
the
playing
corner
on
there.
it?
Video games aren't a sport. You guys are all up on something
What was
isn't
that?
something.
There's the little volume button, the little
Yeah,
mute.
yeah. No, I just didn't know if there's any music.
It's not music,
On it.
it's just speech.
And I also have to reshare it so I can share the actual audio.
Caught fisting.
So, my buddy Brian is an expert at video. So, that's Drax from Avengers Infinity War.
The ability of standing so incredibly still that I've become invisible to the eye.
He just walked up there. He was totally an open target, but the kid didn't see him walk up.
The ability of standing so incredibly still that I've become invisible to the eye. Watch.
Boom. So there you go. Please check out Triple D Dodgeball on Instagram, on Facebook. We're still preparing for Italy. If you guys feel like buying a shirt, it really helps a lot. We really appreciate all the support you guys give Triple D Dodgeball.
Buy his shirt.
But even just following on Instagram is a real big help. So we appreciate it, guys.
That's it. Hope you liked the show, everybody. Check out all the other stuff on tomorrow's a Star Wars show.
Keep on keeping on.
So Monday is nothing. Tuesday.
Got
Look for
Absolute
Pete
Geek.
Shorts. Absolute Geek on Friday nights, along with MCM Mail Call Madness on Friday nights.
Thresholds of Reality has had a big boost this week too. We got like a bunch of subscribers this week.
Yeah, what are we at now?
335 was the last I saw. But we'd appreciate you guys checking out that channel too and giving us a view, giving us a thumbs up, giving us a
We're having the moon landing skeptic come back on. He actually reach out to us, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, I
Check
like that
my
last time.
cards at Cartier West on Instagram.
So yeah, we've gotten a whole bunch of people who've been trickling over. We're at 338 now.
Wow.
When will you be doing breakdown of the Peruta films?
Zapruder?
The Peruta.
The Peruta.
We actually are planning on doing more when we get to kind of sift through the JFK files that
just got released.
Yeah, there was a bunch that got released. They're really a big nothing burger there. We're still waiting on 4,000 documents to get dropped, and hopefully when they come out, we will be doing a full breakdown and trying to make it all make sense.
The Peruta.
Back and to the left. Back and to the left.
Yep.
The Peruta.
I love that movie.
As long as we don't see any weather balloons flying over, we'll be all right.
They shot it down today.
I know, in the ocean.
It's about freaking time. They're going to let some dolphin choke on it.
We hate balloons.
There's so many funny memes right now about that.
Help me.
They said it was the wind. The wind blew it.
Yeah, no shit.
I would like to go on more, Tyson. That would be fun. We just haven't had the time.
Tell them the wind blew it.
Because I'm busy.
That's right.
Because he's a
They
busy
believe
guy.
anything.
Because he's fucking
Stupid American.
busy. I was fucking wasted when I said that. So, thanks everybody for coming and hanging out. And hope you enjoyed the show.
Either you got me confused with somebody else, or this is a joke.